every night.
Yes, they do. They should. They're young.
I understand, but
Yep. I agree.
I was texting with our NBA insider last night.
How is Felipe?
He's good. Said he's ready for a guest appearance, and he started talking about the Canes. Said, Felipe, if you ever get a guest appearance, it's about basketball and basketball only. I'm ready. He's all pissed off, but wants him out of the ACC. He was all fired up. Although I did read something, and it's interesting. I disagreed, and I want to bring it up to you. Someone's take was they moved where Notre Dame and Miami are. If BYU loses, then Miami and Notre Dame are next to each other, and they're really going to rank Miami one spot below Notre Dame. They're not the same tier then, and I think they are. But I think it's, So Nolan let you know that? I didn't realize that. That's on me.
No, I'd forgot to tell you. And to be honest, I hadn't heard the spot.
Runs every day. Taking it out right now. We need a couple of sponsors.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this first hump day of December. Christmas is 3 weeks and a day away. How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Mark, how's the first week of December going for you?
It's, you know what? It's going all right. We cleared the house out over the past couple of days. The boy left on Sunday. The mother-in-law left yesterday. We transformed in rapid time from Thanksgiving decorations to full-on Christmas, including, I think I mentioned this earlier in the week, my son being basically guilted into helping with the Christmas lights by his sister.
Yep.
So the house looks good. I still have to get the wreath up. That's the last object. We've got a big wreath that goes over an opening in our house. And, I don't climb ladders that high, so I have to pay someone to do it for me.
Do you play music throughout the house during the month of December?
My wife and daughter would have, whether it's, we have Sirius, so whether it's Holly or one of the 64 other channels they devote to the holidays,
right?
They would have it on a loop. I only put it on for a moment. When we were putting the Christmas lights up outside, and my son was so upset about he is not a fan of Christmas, and there are a lot of reasons behind it. He had to do a lot of flying in and around Christmas when he was a kid because of the situation with his mother and I. So he is not a fan of Christmas, and that sucks. And, with the little sister, hopefully that will get better. But I told the little sister, I told my daughter, as we were putting the lights up, I looked at her, I said, go get my phone. And as we were putting lights up, I quickly put the Sirius app on and hit Christmas music and started playing it in the driveway. He stopped and looked at me. He said, I'll leave right now. I will leave and fly back.
Wasn't enough to sick his sister on him. You have to go Christmas music while it was still November.
Right. The wife and daughter listen to Christmas music, and their commute to school is about 25, 30 minutes. Apparently, Christmas music is on all morning, every day, and has been for a while.
Wow.
And she's tried to get me to play it when I pick her up from school. And I look at her like, are you nuts? I go, first off, it's 3:00. We're listening to Pat Kerwin. That's what we do with it.
Oh, I thought you were playing Zeppelin again.
Well, if not, it's music. But normally it's Pat. And she now knows who Pat is by his voice and really has no clue that he comes on my show unless I tell her.
Right.
She doesn't, the drive, half-hour drive, you think the wife and daughter might want to listen to the show?
No.
Nope, never. Not once.
No. Got to listen to you around the house occasionally. Why the
world? Right. The only time that they will listen is if by chance a client of my wife's will say something to the effect of, oh, they were talking about you today. And she'll come home and say, what were you talking about? I'm like, I don't, sports, 4 hours. What do you want to know? Well, apparently you brought me up. We did. And David and I, this isn't a new thing because David's approaching 60 and I'm in my mid 50s. This could have been 19 years ago. You ask Miller and Moulton what they talked about on the show at 2:00 in the afternoon. There's a good chance you're not going to get much out of either of us.
Right. Okay. We've had troubles with our memory when it's concerning this show for a very long time.
Absolutely. But so no Christmas music. The constant question in my house every night from the wife and or daughter is, so what do we have to watch tonight? And it's the time of the year where I tell them we don't have to watch anything. There is no particular game that I have to watch. But there's always a game, kids. There's always a game. And I took in a little Duke, Florida last night.
Last night was a great college hoops night.
I went to bed after the first games. I didn't stay up for North Carolina and Kentucky. It just, I try to catch up on my sleep on Tuesdays and Wednesdays where I get to bed a little earlier because football's on every other damn night. So I watched a little bit of the Michigan State game. I watched Duke, Florida. Florida, kind of was arm-barred the whole game, kept coming back, and had it right there. And when you're at Cameron and you leave a player open for a big three, do you know what they typically do? They bury it.
They hit it. Yeah,
they bury it.
Yep. They do. I will say ACC showing up this year in the ACC SEC Challenge. Got walloped last year. Not necessarily the case this year. ACC showing up in this challenge. SEC has had a very tough first 4+ weeks of the season, actually. Their non-conference record, not good. Not good. It's early, but it ain't last year.
Don't worry, when they start playing conference play, they're so good, all of their rankings will easily rise to the top. Because after it all, it just means more, not just to the conference, but to anybody that votes on the conference.
Oh, look at you. You were an SEC guy a few years ago. You sound as if
I am an SEC guy, but it doesn't matter the damn sport, David. I mean, it's getting a little ridiculous. Basketball, 47 teams. Football, 9 teams. College softball, the whole conference gets in. I mean, it is bordering on ridiculousness of the tiebreakers. Well, they're in the SEC. They're better. Are they? I'm hoping this year in the playoff that a Big 12, that Texas Tech gets an SEC team and beats them. I think it would be good for the sport. And it doesn't really matter between the Big Ten and the SEC so much. I think it matters with everybody else in the SEC because the Big Ten's getting theirs too.
Look at you. Look at you becoming a fan of the little guy. Or not even the little guy, just a different guy.
Just a guy.
Gotcha.
I know a guy. You know what I mean.
Right. I don't know if today is any special day, National Watermelon Day or something like that. But
It's National Candle Day, David. It's National Faux Fur Day. It's National Green Bean Casserole Day.
Shouldn't that be late November?
I would agree with you.
Aren't they a week off? So our poll question yesterday got a decent response. Who should be the next football coach at South Florida? John Gruden? Anybody else? Gruden won. Close. 52-48. For what it's worth.
I would look at our poll question means nothing in terms of who they hire. But to me, if that poll question was 90-10 yes, that would mean something. The fact that it was that close, I don't think he's going to get I thought about this a little yesterday. I don't think he's going to get any consideration for the job. Not any public, not anything that we're going to hear about. If he does, great. I think it would be super for the team because they would get a lot of publicity, but we have no idea whether or not it would work. And I don't know if that's the direction they want to. I don't know if they want to basically push all their chips in on an unknown in that circle, if you know what I mean.
Oh, I do know what you mean. It's why the question was asked and phrased the way that it was. I just think they can afford the gamble. I do. Okay. I don't think that, if they get this hire wrong, that, the program will be set back 10 years. I don't believe that. I believe they could, in 2 to 3 years, if they gave Gruden a shot and it didn't really work or it's not really working, I think they could move on and be fine. They'll be in the new stadium. The landscape will be what the landscape is. Okay. And they go find the next goalish and they'd be fine.
Yeah, I disagree with that, not just for the sake of disagreeing. I think the momentum that they've built with goalish needs to be continued between now and when they open that stadium. Well, because the students are going to come, and that's great. But outside of the students that will now be able to walk to a game, will anybody else come if they put back-to-back 3-9 seasons up?
Well, first off, I don't think Gruden, to me, Gruden going 7-5, 6-6, 7-6, Gruden's not going to go 3-9 in my estimation.
Okay, let me just stop you right there. Did you think Belichick was going to do what he did this year?
Actually, yes, I thought that was very possible. Yeah, okay. I thought that was potentially a disaster. Yes. Okay. Yeah, Bill Belichick in the college game, even the current college landscape, I think is such a fish out of water. I just didn't like it. Forget the whole him and his granddaughter there. Did not think it was a fit, a match. 50 years in the NFL game and now all of a sudden you're going to show up? No. And not only that, he doesn't have much of a personality. Okay? I don't, Bill is not a people person. Bill is not somebody, no. He related to players in the NFL. Why? Because they were getting paid to listen to him. Otherwise, they would not be listening to him. And the more he won, the more they listened. Because they figured, well, there's got to be something to what he's saying. Oh, yeah, and they had Brady for a lot of it.
All right. Okay, I'm just, I not many people thought that was going to be unmitigated disaster the way that it was, and that's what it was.
You're right, though. I didn't think it would be a disaster. I thought it wouldn't work. Okay, it was worse than even I thought it was going to be. Okay, I don't think Gruden would fail. Okay, I think he might be mediocre, but I think there'd be a buzz around him, a la Dion in Colorado, that I think would help South Florida.
I mean, there was certainly a buzz around North Carolina. Not negative, not until the girlfriend. I mean, when it was hired, the buzz was all positive.
No doubt.
When you go back to the hire,
oh yeah,
it was deemed a huge coup
Yep.
for North Carolina to get Bill Belichick. The
Chapel
same
Bill.
way it would be for South Florida to get Gruden. So
Yep.
I just think this next hire is critically important. Miller and Moulton, Seth Everett, Bud Elliott, Chris Perkins, all ahead. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
The 2025 Industry Appreciation Awards in Fort Myers have wrapped up, but the celebration of business excellence continues, hosted by the Lee County Economic Development Office, Horizon Council, and Horizon Foundation. This annual event honors the innovators, job creators, and community builders driving the region forward. Visit industryappreciationawards.com to see this year's winners and learn how local businesses are shaping a stronger, more resilient economy for Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
The Fitzpatrick hire? Coffin Ball, what am I missing? Fitzpatrick? Oh, Fitzgerald. Oh, yeah. Coffin Bob. Sataki's from BYU. He's an alum. Played there.
And we can talk about that more on the air. The two monster boosters from BYU jumped in to make sure he stayed.
Mhm.
One owns a cookie company, and he even made a post that apparently it's time for me to put my money where my mouth is. And the other one is a supplement company, and they are billionaires apparently. And they both stepped up.
And apparently they got on the phone and they called the president of the university and they said, you can't let him leave. and we'll do whatever it takes. So the president of the university got involved.
And I love the Fitzgerald hire. I just don't think anybody wants to hear about Michigan State on this show. I don't bring it up because no one cares. I think it's a great hire. I think it's maybe throw Lane out. It's the second best hire of the coaching carousel, if you will. Franklin to Vatek, number one. I would put Fitzgerald number two over every other hire out there. Throw Lane out. That doesn't count.
They did. They tied it with 3 minutes to go, won in overtime.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. The starting five, a little more than 15 minutes away. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. So the committee has spoken, although I can't believe you say this out loud. The head of the committee, when asked, basically, hey, is this it? And they said, no, teams can go up and down in the poll, even though their season is over. What? So Miami can jump Notre Dame, even though neither of them are playing this weekend?
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up, David, because let's just say BYU loses. I mean, they're a double-digit dog against Texas Tech.
Uh-huh.
If they lose that game,
right,
one would think Miami would leapfrog them in the poll. Just that point. That puts Miami at 11 and Notre Dame at 10. Are they then in the same tier? Because we were told head-to-head doesn't matter because they're not in the same tier.
Well, aren't you in the same tier if you're 10 and 12?
David, I don't know what the hell they're doing. I'm just wanting to hear them talk their way out of leaving Notre Dame in and keeping Miami out when they're ranked one spot apart next week and Miami beat them head-to-head.
Now, I will say it's, not just humans that can come to this conclusion. I mean, I'm dating myself here, but 25 years ago, we had a computer system and Florida State and Miami played each other and they had identical 10-1 records. And Miami beat Florida State, and Florida State played for the Natty, and Miami didn't. So the computer can spit them out where they're side by side, and the team that lost wins. And now, 25 years later, history may very well repeat itself. All right. How many losses does BYU have? They have one, right?
They have one.
To Texas Tech.
That's correct.
Are we sure they're going to drop them below Miami if they lose?
I think if they lose by the spread or more, they will drop them, David. I do. Because BYU's most impressive win would be Utah, and it's a good win, but there's not much else there. The Big 12 didn't produce this year.
Okay. All right. But, for the most part, they moved everybody up one. The other part that the committee has to explain, I believe, they don't have to. They really don't. It's a rigged operation. They can do whatever the hell they want. But, if you're a Florida State fan, don't you want to hear the Ole Miss explanation? Like, I didn't think Ole Miss would go up. Now, I didn't think they'd drop Ole Miss out of a wild card spot in the playoff, but I actually thought at best Ole Miss would have the same ranking, but I thought there was a chance they'd be dropped because they're clearly not the team this week that they were last week. They're not. The committee is arguing that Lane Kiffin makes no difference at all. None. In fact, they may be better off without him. So that in and of itself is asinine. Asinine. Obviously, Florida State fans still a little, honked off about a couple years ago. But the committee said, hey, man, they ain't the same team without Jordan Travis.
But we saw it, David. There's the difference. I think you're right. I'm not going to argue with you whether or not Ole Miss is better or worse today. The difference is there were actual games played without Travis. We saw it. So they could go back and David, there'd be a bigger point if Alabama would have lost to Auburn and Ole Miss would have had to play Georgia in the SEC championship. And let's just say Georgia destroys them instead of what was a really good game earlier this season, that Ole Miss had the lead in the fourth quarter. Then they'd have a data point. Yeah, that's data points. That's really big with them. That's their favorite phrase. They love data points.
How about common sense?
They don't use that, David. If they used common sense, Miami would be ranked ahead of Notre Dame. Period. End of sentence. They don't use common sense. They use data points. They use their own ranking system.
Here's why I think it's important, though. And we were ahead of the committee on this. We said for at least 2 weeks, they've got it wrong with Notre Dame and Alabama. And they're going to need to put Alabama ahead of Notre Dame because you can't have Alabama on the bubble. You can't. It's not going to go over well. And we talked about the scenarios. 2-3 weeks ago was the possibility of the ACC getting more than one. Never mind the whole Big 12 getting more than one. And now, last night, what did the committee do? The committee finally ranked Alabama ahead of Notre Dame. So that Alabama is off the bubble. Because we don't believe, even if they get whacked by Georgia in the SEC championship game, that they're going to penalize a school who makes a major conference title game. Because once they do that, it destroys the conference championship games. Period.
The SEC championship's over if Georgia beats Alabama and somehow Alabama is not put in the college football playoff. I'm telling you right now, they'd quit playing the damn game.
I think it's over if they just flip-flop them with Notre Dame. Okay, the minute a team loses in a major conference championship game and gets penalized for it, they're over. It's done. Schools aren't going to play the game. And it's not like the kids are going to object. This ain't pro football where you get paid by game check. Okay, the kids will be like, yeah, we could forfeit this game. Maybe I'm getting paid. Fine by me. But, Mark, by moving Ole Miss up one and moving them ahead of Texas A&M, now I get the reasoning. 11-1, 11-1. And let's compare the losses. Ole Miss's losses to the team who's currently third on the road. Texas A&M's losses to the team that's currently 13th on the road. Okay, Ole Miss beat Oklahoma. Team's currently 8th on the road. A&M beat Notre Dame. Team who's currently 10th on the road. So those are their data points, but they're not taking into account the fact that Ole Miss has lost Lane Kiffin. And by the way, this story last night, Charlie Weiss, our primary play caller, that's crap. That's crap. Charlie Weiss Jr. is not the primary play caller. Lane Kiffin is the play caller. Charlie helps with game planning. Charlie may make suggestions. Lane Kiffin was running the offense. But now, Mark, Ole Miss is going to get either the champion of the American or possibly the Sun Belt champion in the first round at home. And A&M is going to get Notre Dame or Alabama. It's a big difference where they moved Ole Miss. Big, huge. And they're not the same team. No fault of them, but they're not. Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. This December, watch the nation's best high school basketball players compete in the City of Palms Classic. Fort Myers will once again welcome future college and NBA stars as they square off at Suncoast Arena from December 18th through the 23rd. Come see Southwest Florida's own Bishop Verreau versus Barron Collier on Sunday night, December 21st. For tournament information, please visit cityofpalmsclassic.com. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
All right, Joe, I'll look into it.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Hump Day edition of Miller and Moulton. Thanks for being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. The 8 a.m. Eastern hour is when our guests begin. Seth Everett, Bud Elliott, Chris Perkins. Right now it is time for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is The Starting Five.
And the Starting Five brought to you by Lee County, Florida. Building a better community through business, sports, and tourism. BST, baby. BST, not BLT. You can have a BLT while admiring BST, business, sports, and tourism. The playoff committee released its second to last poll of the year in college football, essentially laying out who is in the playoff next week if there are no upsets and who is on the bubble if there are. The top 4 that are getting byes: Ohio State, Indiana, Georgia, Texas Tech. Mark, what do you do with the loser in the Big Ten championship game? How far are you dropping them, if at all?
David, look, I'm not trying to go around this, but it depends on what happens in Georgia and Alabama.
All right,
because if Georgia wins,
yes,
I think they will go to 2.
Okay, so just flip-flop and the loser of Ohio State, Indiana falls to 3?
I think so, possibly to 4 if Texas Tech wins also. But I don't think there's a way that either team loses a bye unless somehow one team is just goat rodeoed in the game. I mean, if Ohio State beats them 56-7, then all bets are off.
I don't think it's possible for either team to lose their bye because here's the thing. Right now, Oregon's 5. Well, Indiana beat Oregon. So, I mean, they're not going to drop Ohio State behind Oregon. They're not going to drop Indiana behind Oregon. So I think
I think they could put Alabama up past if Alabama. Let's just say Alabama wins a classic, and Indiana gets blown out. Could it be some form of Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama, Texas Tech before Indiana?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. I mean, these two teams are 12-0. They're the only two 12-0s. I don't think that the loser gets dropped out of the top 4, but I asked you, and you think it's possible based on how the game goes and how the other results go.
Highly unlikely, David.
Oregon 5, so they would be the team that would host the weakest entrant into the playoffs. Ole Miss moved up a spot to 6. A&M, after losing to Texas, fell from 3 to 7. Oklahoma 8, and they flip-flopped Alabama and Notre Dame, which they should have done a week or 2 ago. Their reasoning to do it now is, once again, it defies logic, but it's the committee. What would you expect? They kept BYU ahead of Miami, so right now BYU is the odd team out, but BYU can play their way in by winning the Big 12 championship. In theory, if BYU beats Texas Tech, then Notre Dame is out?
Yep. Book it.
Or would they drop Texas Tech out?
I don't think so. Based on last year in SMU, David.
Miami is 12. Seemingly for the second straight year, 2 spots removed from making the playoff. But let's just say BYU loses to Texas Tech and they decide they're going to leapfrog Miami ahead of BYU. They still would be 1 spot behind Notre Dame. Yes, same record. Yes, Miami beat them first game of the year by 3. Vandy did not move up. And since Texas beat Vandy, Texas is 13th and Vandy is 14th. It's important to note, Virginia is 17. If Virginia wins the ACC title game, A, they get an automatic spot, and B, they will be the second worst team in the field by seeding because the two combatants for the American Championship are 20th and 24th. Also, if James Madison wins the Sun Belt, they're ranked. They're 25th, but they obviously would stay behind Virginia. However, the best team in the Sun Belt is ranked ahead of Duke. If Duke pulls the upset in the ACC title game, will the committee put in the American Conference champion and the Sun Belt Conference champion and therefore leave out the ACC champion because only the top 5 conference champions are guaranteed a spot in the playoff? So it's very interesting what could happen based on a couple of key results. BYU and/or Duke winning, and this gets fun.
And what is even more fun to me is, let's just say Duke wins and James Madison blows out their opponent. I don't think maybe they'll put Duke ahead of James Madison because they will have beaten number 17 Virginia, which will drop. But I don't know if Virginia would drop below James Madison, which would mean Miami, Georgia Tech, and Virginia would all be ranked ahead of James Madison, but James Madison would go to the college football playoff.
One other college football note, BYU head coach Kalani Sitake was apparently this close to going to Penn State. And then the two richest boosters at BYU called the president of the university and said, offer him whatever you got to offer him. Whatever he's unhappy about, take care of it. We got you covered. And
Crumble
Sitake,
cookies, David. It's all about crumble cookies.
Well, Sitake's going to be making a lot of cookies while staying at BYU. He is 23-3 the last 2 years so far, I believe, at BYU. But he's not going to Penn State. By the way, today is National Early Signing Day. Did you see the latest recruiting rankings? Penn State is behind Montana State. They're apparently 138th in the recruiting rankings. They only have 4 kids who are still committed to them. 3 4-stars and 1 3-star. That's it. Yeah, a top 10 recruiting class has all said bye-bye because James Franklin is no longer there. NFL. Steelers claim wide receiver Adam Thielen off waivers. They cut cornerback Darius Slay to make room for him on the roster. Broncos signed veteran wide receiver Elijah Moore to their practice squad. Colts waived their kicker Michael Badgley. He's missed 3 extra points this year. They signed the guy that the Saints just got rid of, Blake Group. Group won the kicking competition. Ravens Justin Tucker, or former Raven Justin Tucker, second straight week he's had a tryout. He's finished second in New Orleans and Indianapolis. Baseball, Blue Jays continue to spend money on pitching. They signed 31-year-old right-hander Cody Ponce. Who's Cody Ponce? He was MVP of the Korean Baseball Organization. He's 31 years old. They signed him to a 3-year, $30 million deal. He was 17-1 with a 1.89 ERA last year. Of course, it was in Korea. So we'll see how he does in the transition. Day 2 of NASCAR versus Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin in Front Row Motorsports. Hamlin ended up being on the witness stand for 6.5 hours total between days 1 and 2. The trial going to take another couple weeks. Apparently, Mark, the list of people keeps getting bigger and more salacious on the witness stand. And apparently some of the people that NASCAR has badmouthed in some of those texts and emails, apparently they are flocking to Charlotte over the next week and a half, and they are very willing now to testify against NASCAR.
Which is a big change because like Hendrick and a couple and Childress didn't want to even be deposed, let alone be witnesses. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah. Then they read the texts and the emails. Mark, it's that whole discovery thing again. We talk about it all the time. If it ain't the trial, it's the discovery.
Hello, NFL. You're on deck.
College hoops. The ACC SEC Challenge is underway. Carolina beat Kentucky 67-64. Good win for Autry and Syracuse. They needed it at home. They knocked off 13th-ranked Tennessee 62-60. Gators got beat. Duke hit a 3 with under 20 seconds to go at Cameron. Beat the Gators 67-66.
Terrible last play by the Gators. They looked completely disorganized and ended up turning the ball over when they had a shot to win the game. They kind of blew that last possession because they played the last 5 minutes really well.
Miami beat Ole Miss 75-66, and Georgia pounded Florida State. The UConn women pounded South Florida 85-51. A couple other men's results from last night. UConn went into Allen Fieldhouse and beat Kansas 61-56. Top-ranked Purdue handled Rutgers in their Big Ten opener, 81-65. Mark, we were all over Sparty last night. We said the line just doesn't look right. I know Iowa's unbeaten, but they're not as tested as Michigan State's unbeaten, and Michigan State was only a 5.5-point favorite at home. Yeah, Sparty won by 19.
New football coach in the building. Little spark there for Sparty.
Yeah.
And David, you know what channel I watched it on? It may have been on Peacock. You may have been right when you announced that yesterday, but I don't subscribe to Peacock, and I still watch the game because it was on the new NBC Sports channel.
Oh, look at there. Look at there. I'm going to have to find out where that is on my cable. Jacksonville in overtime beat FAMU. North Florida lost at home to SIU. And that'll pretty much do it for college hoop. NBA, Celtics at home. Knicks, not the same team on the road, not close. It's probably second best team in the NBA at home so far this year. I mean, OKC is undefeated at home. But on the road, below 500, Celtics beat them 123-117 last night. Speaking of OKC, they're 21-1.
21-1. That is incredible.
So the Avs have lost once in regulation in 26 hockey games, and and Oklahoma City's 21-1 in the NBA. Which is more impressive? There's a poll question.
It's really close. It seems like it's harder in hockey than hoop, but flip a coin, man, because 21-1 is unbelievable.
OKC went into Golden State, beat the Warriors by 12 last night. San Antonio held off Memphis, 126-119. How about overtime in Nolens? Timberwolves 149-142 over the Pelicans. And just like that, Zion healthy, playing well. Yeah, he's out 3 weeks. Toronto beat Portland 121-118. Sixers by 19 over the Wizards. NHL, Lightning saw their 7-game winning streak snapped on Long Island. They lost 2-1. Panthers gave up 2 goals first 8 minutes and lost to Toronto 4-1. Nashville, Stammer scored his 7th of the year, number 589 on his career. Preds over Calgary 5-1. Mark, your Wings snapped the 4-game skid, edging Boston 5-4.
Up 3-0 and held on.
My Rangers won a home game for just the third time this year, needed overtime to beat Dallas 3-2. As previously mentioned, the Avs with a win over Vancouver 3-1 are 19-1-6. One regulation loss in the first 26 games of the season in hockey. Unheard of. Vegas in a shootout over Chicago 4-3. 5 in a row for the Caps. They're in first. They beat the Kings 3-1. Brady Tkachuk, a goal and a helper. Ottawa over Montreal 5-2. And the Oilers ain't the same, baby. They got shut out last night by the Wild, 1-0. They're 500 on the year. I'm telling you, there's a coach that's about to get fired in Edmonton. And 7 minutes before the hour, that was the starting five. 5 big stories and a Korean baseball MVP signing here on Miller and Moulton.
Didn't know if you were going there, or an Edmonton Oiler coach on Miller and Moulton. Seth Everett, Bud Elliott, Chris Perkins, all ahead. Thanks for joining us, Miller and Moulton. Football season is back, and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton sent you.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeister's prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Did you see that Vandy flipped the quarterback that was going to Georgia?
Yep.
And Georgia's got no backup plan.
Now, I will say the kid's coming back for next year. The current guy.
But okay. But
Right.
They've got no one in the. This was their.
No,
this
right.
Was
this
the
was their guy.
This
Yeah.
was the heir apparent.
Uh-huh.
And flip-flopping with Notre Dame left Twix? No, I don't. I do think it depends on how they lose, but I don't think Alabama's going to move at all for having already beaten Georgia and then losing to them. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yes, fam forever. Me too. Shocked he's going to miss 3 weeks.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this hump day, the first such one of December as we get over it together. 3 weeks and a day away from the big fella and Christmas. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. There were a few folks who have commented there were certain college basketball games we didn't get to. I didn't get to in the starting five. Sorry, limited on time, but you're right with the ACC SEC challenge. A lot of good games out there. Some great non-conference games. Obviously, the Big Ten conference schedule got underway last night. USC remains unbeaten. Missouri lost. They had a solid halftime lead at Notre Dame. The Irish came back to knock them from the ranks of the unbeaten. Missouri hadn't really played anybody this year. So, yeah, great night of college hoop last night. Couldn't get to all of it, no question.
So I had a few different ideas for a poll question today, David. One is very simple. Who should decide the college football playoff teams? A committee or a computer?
Okay, I like that.
I mean, I do think I'm curious as to what people think because, I mean, my goodness, they were talking about the playoff committee in a cabinet meeting for crying out loud, which is embarrassing in and of itself. I don't care who's in office. Leave it alone. Come on. The government getting involved in college football, that in the college football rankings, that's the last thing we need.
I thought it was a funny line by Rubio, though. I did. Okay, I mean, he said, I'm a Gator, but if Miami ends up behind Notre Dame, I think we may have to get involved. I thought it was, First off, listen, I'm always impressed with anybody in government is actually somewhat knowledgeable on what's going on in the sports world. I really am.
And I guess that's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is I would rather you worry about your job.
Well, there's no doubt. I'm a little more concerned of, Rubio's handling of the Ukraine, but I appreciated his 2 cents. What the heck? It's an opinion sport, All right, Secretary of State throws in his 2 cents. Fine, it's welcome, sir. It's welcome. We're not going to do anything with it, but it's welcome.
But so a committee or a computer. But then I was thinking about this morning, and feel free to chime in on the Pelican Roofing of Florida text line. 21,000 is the number. If you've never texted the show, you need to text the keyword Miller. Of these 3 things, what bothers you the most about college football? The portal, NIL, or the coaching carousel? the coaching loyalty or lack thereof. Because it's not just Lane Kiffin. It's sometimes the universities. I mean, what we're doing right, I mean, the buyouts alone in college football this year are ridiculous. You can't ever say you don't have enough money to pay the players when the buyouts this year they're over $200 million. So that was one way, but I didn't want to be too negative. I don't always enjoy, I don't really like to be negative. I really don't, even though it comes off that way. I'm snarky by nature. I don't want to be negative by nature. But a computer or a committee, who do you want to decide the college football playoff teams? That's posted. The other one I've kind of left alone for now.
I love that question because if you have been paying attention to college football for a generation, never mind more, then you remember the BCS controversies and how people were very mad at the computer system.
The Big 12 loved the computer.
Yes.
For whatever reason, however the computer programmed worked, when in doubt, the tie went to the Big 12, or seemingly so.
Every time. Every time. I mean, in 2001, Nebraska got in the title game against Miami when it easily could have been Oregon. And how, if not Oregon, why not Colorado, who granted was in the Big 12, but they had just beaten Nebraska by 30. And they had the same record. How come Nebraska's in the game? We had a year when Oklahoma gets beat in the Big 12 title game by 4 touchdowns. And they play for the national championship against LSU. And USC is going, what about us? Then there's 2004. And by the way, this is so laughable today. Mark, could you imagine a 12-0 Big 12 team and a 12-0 SEC team? And most of the sport, without hesitation and without challenge, says, well, the Big 12 team should be in the championship game, not the SEC team. And the whole sport went, absolutely, you're right. I mean, the SEC is the inferior conference. Yeah, it was only 21 years ago that was the case. I mean, there was no doubt Oklahoma should play USC. Don't even consider Auburn and they're 12-0. No way. Not even worthy of serious consideration. Nope. It's Oklahoma against USC. Sorry, 12-0 Auburn. Maybe one day.
So who should decide the playoff teams, the college football playoff teams, a committee or a computer?
I like it.
That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Miller_Moulton on X to vote.
And I do love the fact that it could be 25 years later that the Canes, who went, I think it was 10-1. I think we were playing 11-game seasons then. That the Canes went 10-1, Florida State went 10-1, Miami beat Florida State. Florida State, the computer put them in the title game against Oklahoma. In the Orange Bowl, Miami would have had a home game for the Natty. And 25 years later, you get the whole 10-2. Now, I'm going to do something that's dangerous. Does the committee have it right with Notre Dame ahead of Miami? Just hear me out for a second. We all know Notre Dame's 2 losses.
Right.
Pretty damn good losses. Okay. And they lost a 3-point game week 1 to Miami. Miami's 10-2. Miami's losses, not good losses. I mean, Miami was favored in every game they played after Notre Dame. Lost at home to Louisville, and then lost at SMU. And so when you're weighing the 10-2s, I mean, does the committee have it right?
Look at, even if you can convince me that at this point of the season, Notre Dame's better than Miami, why do you schedule the games? Why should Texas ever schedule Ohio State again? In fact, there's talk right now that Notre Dame and Miami are playing again next year. I guess November's the date that they're talking about. And the Miami AD, to his credit, says, no, we're still planning on playing it. But to say that, look, I know A&M had a great regular season. They didn't play anybody. They didn't. How many bowl teams did they play this year?
Well, in conference, they only played, I think, one, Texas, and they lost to them. We talked about this. This is what can happen in these 16, 18-team leagues with unbalanced scheduling. You can get a year where the computer spits out your 8 or 9 teams, and almost all of them are not good.
And they had Missouri and LSU on their schedule. So I guess they played 3 bowl teams along with, 3 qualifying bowl teams. But I don't know if we can truly answer that question. This is one of those things that we're going to look back upon this season in college football. What happens if A&M plays Texas Tech, which I would love, and Texas Tech beats them? Do we still think the same about A&M, or that's just a one-off playoff game? I don't think all of the answers are that easy, and I don't think they will be until we put what we think are the best teams against one another in this playoff.
I mean, A&M did go to Notre Dame and beat the Irish. So while, yes, they got a soft SEC schedule, and yeah, Missouri and LSU have winning records and they're going to bowls, but they're in the bottom half of the SEC standings.
Yes. No, I'm just pointing out.
Right.
I said bowl teams. I'm just making sure I don't need a text with someone. I've been going at it with an SEC fan this morning who was trying to claim, when I mentioned softball, how great the SEC is. He's trying to claim all of the Oklahoma titles as SEC titles. They've only been in the conference for a year. They don't count.
Right. Come on now. Come on. The Nebraska titles do not count as Big Ten titles. Stop it.
Right.
Stop it. All the USC titles are not Big Ten titles. Enough already. Come on.
Now, if I've got this right, and I don't know if it is, David, I pulled up a quick article from On3 with the BCS rankings. Notre Dame's 9 in that. Alabama's 10. BYU 11. Vanderbilt 12. Miami 13.
I will say, as you would expect from a very good school like Vanderbilt, they did print out a multi-page explanation as to why their ranking should be better than it is yesterday.
But Oregon's number 4 in the BC. People would freak out if Oregon was number 4 by a computer. They'd freak out.
Well,
and rightly so.
Mark, what happens if Texas Tech gets beat by BYU? 3 of the top 4 teams are going to be Big Ten teams.
Yeah, I don't think that'll happen. I think someone will. I think Oregon will be replaced. I do not think the Big Ten will get 3 byes. No way.
How?
Because they do what they want. You know that.
Yeah, I don't know who they could grab and put them over Oregon though. Because remember, if you want to go Alabama and give them a bye, well, then you take Georgia out, don't you?
Not for Oregon, I don't think. I don't.
Huh. All right.
So a committee or a computer? Who do you want to decide the teams in the college football playoff? Miller and Moulton. American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
This is Miller and Moulton.
A hard schedule, Panda? No. But they did go out and schedule Texas and beat them. You know, Penn State fell on their face. That's not the Buckeyes' fault. They played Michigan at Michigan, and they play Indiana in the Big Ten title game. They've destroyed everybody they've played. But this new big conference thing is not good.
Jim and Alba, listen, I think the Canes should be ahead of Notre Dame. I do. I think at the end of the day, head-to-head should matter a lot. I also think being in a conference versus not being in a conference, at what point is that supposed to play a role? How about in a very close tiebreaker? However, if you took the Notre Dame win off Miami's schedule, what are you hanging your hat on? The win at Pitt to make the playoffs. See, that's the thing. You know, the Miami fans upset about we shouldn't even play Notre Dame. If you didn't have the Notre Dame win, make your case.
Okay, then outside of, I guess, citing losses, make your case for Notre Dame with their wins.
I understand that they have the same win that Miami has at Pitt. I mean, those wins are even.
Right, and North Carolina State even. I mean, I don't know.
And then Notre Dame beat USC. Where's Miami's USC? If not for the Notre Dame win.
But the win over Notre Dame is better than Notre Dame's win over Penn State, right?
Well, Notre Dame didn't play Penn State.
I mean, the win over
No.
USC.
No. But I'm just saying, Pete, the Miami people that are saying that they should no longer play Notre Dame, take the Notre Dame win off that resume. How do you make a case for being in the playoff? It's not a playoff resume. Okay, remember, I'm on your side. I would have Miami ahead of Notre Dame. Okay, but for those that are saying we shouldn't play Notre Dame anymore, unless the ACC is going to get its act together here, no, you should keep playing Notre Dame. You need the win. Second year in a row, Notre Dame's going to end the year with a 10-game winning streak.
Mr. Spivey, yes, they are.
Yes, they are.
That is the bigger problem. That is a much bigger problem.
Yeah.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. Remember for years, Mark, when we would laugh? I mean, if you think about the designated hitter, and we talked about it, how one league could have it for nearly 50 years and another league couldn't. And we always said, could you imagine in basketball if in the Eastern Conference you had the three-point shot and in the Western Conference you didn't? Isn't that just asinine? And yet baseball people were fine with it. Yeah, it's a difference in the leagues. What? Okay. I mean, can you imagine college football without opinion?
No.
That
As
if
a matter
college
of fact,
football
I cannot.
was
It's the lifeblood of the sport.
right. And yet none of the other sports have opinion in it, do they? And
Not one.
no. And yet college football is largely based on opinion. Hell, opinion can mean more than the actual game.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
But this whole Miami Notre Dame thing, do you think it will lead to change?
No. No, I mean, it may get us closer to 16, but they're not getting rid of the committee because remember, and this is the one thing the committee said yesterday that I think people should pay just a tiny bit of attention to when they, they were asked, why are you ranking them again next week, essentially? And they deferred to, well, we're hired by the conference commissioners, and they want us to do a ranking after championship week. Okay. So they want it. The people who hired the committee or put the committee in place want this system. They don't want change. And they can't agree on much right now. And they can't even get to 16. They can't figure out that with the different proposals that are going out there. So, no, I don't think it will change.
And I think it's been pointed out in our Twitch and YouTube chat rooms, and I don't know if it's also on our text line, 21,000. I think that Miami should be more upset with the ACC than with the committee.
100%.
For as much as you and I disagree with the committee, and we would have Miami at one spot ahead of Notre Dame because nothing means more than head-to-head to us, the fact that Miami could be a top 12 team in the country and not win a five-way tiebreaker for the second spot in the ACC championship game seems absurd to us. And by the way, it was the fifth tiebreaker of the five-team tiebreaker. I mean, the ACC had 4 opportunities to simply say, well, we'll go with the highest-ranked team in the college football rankings, and they should get the spot. They had 4 opportunities and didn't put it in.
Yeah, I don't know which conference it is, and it's a G6 conference, but one of the conferences didn't have their conference title game announced because they go off of the rankings, period. That's how that's their number one tiebreaker. Who's ranked the highest? Smart move, especially for a G6 conference, because you're trying to do what? Be the best, put the best ranked team up there to give your school a shot at the playoff.
Right.
Can I flip gears for a moment? Completely flip gears?
Totally.
Because we've got guests coming up. We got things to talk about, and I don't know if we'll be able to get this in. But I think it was yesterday. It may have been on Monday that Justin Thomas came out and ripped the Bethpage Black grounds crew for arguing with the Ryder Cup players on the American team and the Ryder Cup captain about green speeds. You remember the Ryder Cup, that event every 2 years that America gets their ass kicked by Europe. And we acted like buffoons in the crowd, that we being Americans. Deplorable. It was. It was gross.
Yep.
And we lost. We got crushed.
Right. We made it close on Sunday after having been destroyed for 2 days.
So a Bethpage turf staffer responded to Justin Thomas because JT put the blame on the turf staff for the Team USA Ryder Cup loss, saying the greens weren't at requested speeds. He said the following: they can argue with the numbers all they want, but these are concrete, collected numbers that cannot be argued with. Data is data, not an opinion. Player perception is an opinion. There was zero conversation between captains and the ground crew during tournament week, and that is at the fault of Keegan. We would have welcomed him with open arms at any day or time. We were there 24/7 and only spoke with him once directly, weeks before the event. If there was a problem, it should have come from him in the practice rounds. He did put in parentheses after that they failed to play when they would have realized that they didn't like the speed. They still lost, and they still can't accept it. 2 months later, and the excuses keep rolling. The grounds crew wanted to win more than any player on that American team. Quite frankly, it meant more to the Bethpage staff in the state of New York than anyone else. Learn to practice and compete as a team, or JT will continue to scrap together excuses in 2026.
Mic drop.
Damn. I'm out. I'm out. Jerry, I'm out. I mean, that's something. Because I'm not a huge JT guy. I'm not. Ever since he threw the fan out for yelling, "Get in the bunker," I kind of lost my patience with Justin Thomas. There's a bunch of things that he's done that I've liked. He signing autographs for kids. There's been a bunch of things that you see and go, all right, good for you, JT. But he's not my favorite out there. But I love the Bethpage staffer saying, wait a blanking minute.
Mark, we have a saying on this show, shut up and cash the checks. With the U.S. Ryder Cup team, it needs to be shut up and play better. You got outplayed. Now, I will say, they actually, day 2 of that event, the U.S. played really well. Europe played great. They did. Maybe the best day of performance by a country in the history of the Ryder Cup. That's how good they played that day. You look at the under par totals that the Europeans shot that day, staggering how good they were. They were amazing.
Every damn team, for that matter, too. I mean, there wasn't a bad match. Like you said, the U.S. played well.
Really did.
Just not
they
good
really
enough.
did. Normal Ryder Cups, they would have cut their deficit in half, and it would have been, a tournament going into Sunday. And instead, the route was on, and it was a foregone conclusion. But shut up and play better. That's what we need to do. We need to shut up and play better.
But it isn't, the Bethpage staff there's not alone about the practice rounds. That was well documented that the Team Europe spent more time at Bethpage and spent far more time there together as a team than the U.S. team did. It's not close. It's not arguable.
Yeah.
And that last point to me is what hits home. And, JT is going to be able to avoid this because he's hurt. He's going to miss quite a few months here. So he won't have to really respond. By the way, Tiger did a presser yesterday too. He was actually funny. Somehow someone asked if he's going to play this year. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to play 13 tour events and 12 on the senior. 25 events I think I'll play this year. He just had a disc replaced in his back.
Right. He was given permission Monday of this week to start chipping and putting. Right. I have to admit, though, if you listen to him, there was a touch of sadness. You realize he's done as a player.
Oh, yeah.
He's totally done as a player. I mean, we don't even know if he'll be a ceremonial player going forward. That's how bad his body is right now. Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
There's something magical about the holidays, and at the Diamond District, it's the season we look forward to all year long.
The lights, the laughter, the feeling of giving. That moment someone opens a gift that truly sparkles.
When you walk through our doors, our team is ready to welcome you with warmth and expert guidance. No pressure, just people who love helping you create unforgettable moments.
Stunning diamond jewelry to wrap up the wonder of the season.
The Diamond District, se habla español.
At the Diamond District.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow and Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow and Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow and Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. This December, watch the nation's best high school basketball players compete in the City of Palms Classic. Fort Myers will once again welcome future college and NBA stars as they square off at Suncoast Arena from December 18th through the 23rd. Come see Southwest Florida's own Bishop Verreau versus Barron Collier on Sunday night, December 21st. For tournament information, please visit cityofpalmsclassic.com. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Pius, I'm going to put that on the captain. I mean, I'm sure, they can say I can't show up this. I've got obligations, whatever the case may be. But I'm going to put that on Keegan. I don't know if it's rightly put on Keegan for them not practicing as much. But ultimately, it's got to come, I can't put it on each individual player.
Bud needs us to call him, by the way, next hour. Did you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Robes, what are you talking about? Betting on the Syracuse wardrobe today?
Seth. I'm sure Seth will be getting over the
Gotcha.
Orange win last night,
Okay.
betting on a
Sorry.
Syracuse
I
wardrobe.
didn't. All right. I bet I didn't see the one before it. And yes, Robes, that wild goalie, what, 10 starts in the NHL? He's got 4 shutouts. Very remarkable.
Yes, Pius. I think you should know by now that I'm very well aware of the drunk raccoon. These are the stories that I live for.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Seth Everett. He'll join us coming up at the top of the hour. Bud Elliott, 1 hour from now. Chris Perkins at the top of the Diamond District bonus hour.
That was really impressive. I want to let everybody in on what those in the Twitch and YouTube chat rooms witnessed there, because I don't think at times we give David Moulton enough credit for all the things he does for this show. Because for whatever reason, and if I were at my house doing the show, I might run to the kitchen a little more. It's a fact. But David likes to munch during the show, and there are reasons behind it. He gets a little food. You know, we all get a little hangry. But David sometimes chooses food that's easy to swallow.
Mm-hmm.
Other times, he goes with a food item that makes it a little more difficult to talk, do a show, and swallow. And we just witnessed one of those times, because I'm pretty sure, just based on the sound, I wasn't really watching. I was reading something, but the headsets were on and I could hear him. It appeared to be some sort of a cracker. Am I wrong? Was that a cracker that you had?
It was a Pop-Tart.
It was a pop. Oh, even even worse, makes this even more impressive because we've all had a Pop-Tart. And if you haven't, that's on you. But a Pop-Tart gets, whatever the filling is, gets a little sticky, sticks to the roof of your mouth. That makes it really difficult to talk when you've got brown sugar cinnamon stuck to the roof of your mouth. And David made a bold decision. Maybe because he wasn't paying attention to the clock, but mere seconds before the music started and we came back on the air, David finished the Pop-Tart. And if you really think back of listening to how that segment started, there was some poignant pauses there so that David could chew and swallow. And he got through it like a champ, like an absolute champ. And I just think we sometimes don't give people the respect they deserve. And I just want to say that was impressive. That impressed me.
Well, I'm a pro, Mark. I really am.
You are. Look at, tuna helper, tuna salad, whatever you do, that's easy. You can just swallow that. There's no problems.
Right.
You put a Pop-Tart there, that's dry. That needs a drink of water.
Yes,
so at this
does.
time, if you want to take a drink of water, remind everyone you can always comment on the show. Pelican Roofing of Florida text line. Pelican Roofing of Florida, 1-866-9-PELICAN. Commercial, residential, statewide. Yesterday, David, Joey McGuire, the head coach of Texas Tech, was on the Pat McAfee show.
Yes.
And he made a couple of comments, and I think that they're interesting comments. He basically said that we're being reactive instead of proactive. And we're not fixing the problem, we're reacting to the problem. He said what I would do is move everything in the college football season up. The college conference championship games would be played on Thanksgiving weekend, and the national championship would happen before the transfer portal opens. I had just received a text on the Pelican Roofing of Florida text line. 21,000, by the way, is the number if you want to text the show. And, he just, he says, imagine college football with a proper calendar. And he didn't really have an answer. He just said, I said, what's your calendar? And he kind of gave a roundabout answer. And I don't know and I'm not knocking this guy who texts the show at all. I don't want you to think that I'm taking you on here. Please. I'm just pointing out that you didn't have a perfect answer either. I don't know what the perfect answer is. But I do know that the first premise of what McGuire said is right. We just react. We're not proactive. We react and complain. That's what we do. We don't try to fix anything. And the one point that this texter makes that we all know that the people in power in college football refuse to admit to. Admitting these kids aren't in college classes, the portal should be pushed back a week. That's this student athlete crap, quite frankly. And I know that there are plenty of athletes out there at plenty of schools that are really good students that are there to get an education because they know they're not playing on Sunday. But when these guys are being bought and paid for and transferring schools for the highest dollar, that's what they're there for. And if you listen to Miller and Moulton, we do not begrudge these kids getting money. We don't begrudge the coaches getting money. We don't. The language that they use in and around it's laughable. But do you at all agree with what McGuire's saying in regards to moving the season up so that
No, I'm very much against this. I'm more against this than you realize. No. Thanksgiving.
What would you like the calendar to be then?
Well,
do you want it to change? Do you think this calendar?
Well, let me answer. You've asked 7 questions. Let me try to answer 2 of them. Okay. Thanksgiving weekend needs to remain Thanksgiving weekend. It does. It's very important to the sport. It's very important to the fan bases. They're used to playing this team at this time of the year. They have Thanksgiving, and then they have the game. It's usually, in many cases, the biggest game on the schedule. It's bad enough, Mark, that we've ruined some of these games with the conference realignment. Oregon doesn't play Oregon State anymore. Washington doesn't play Washington State. Okay, Pitt and West Virginia, if they play, they have to play in September. The whole deal. We've already done enough damage. I do not want the Iron Bowl the Saturday before Thanksgiving. I do not want Ohio State, Michigan the Saturday before Thanksgiving.
And I grew up, David, and I know we don't go backwards. Ohio State, Michigan was always the Saturday before. My whole life, it was the Saturday before Thanksgiving. And college football seemed to work fine with that.
I don't remember it that way, but maybe you're right. But no. To me, no. The playoffs should not start before December. Listen, we all know what needs to be done. They won't do it. There should not be conference championship games this week in the major conferences. There shouldn't. We should be starting the playoffs. They should get a 2-week head start on the NFL. And then, by the way, we'd be 12, 16, whatever it is, we'd be down to 4, Mark. It would be mid-December. We'd be down to 4. And then play your semis wherever, whenever you want. You want to play it the very next week? Fine. You want to wait till after Christmas? Do you want to play the semis on New Year's Day? Great. And then end the season a week to 10 days later. But now the coaches want, and here's the other thing, nobody's giving any money back. Conferences ain't giving money back. Coaches ain't giving money back. Mark, listen, I'm not ready for the college football season to start mid-August. I'm not. I have no interest. No interest. It's still the heart of summer nationwide. I know in Florida they've started school, but I'm sorry. And by the way, you won't go to a game in the South in early October because it's too hot. You want the season the second and third week of August in the South? Come on now. Enough. Enough already. Make some hard choices. Make some sacrifices. Otherwise, shut up and cash the checks. It's a TV show. Now, the recruiting calendar and the transfer calendar, that I think needs to be changed. That needs to be moved down the road. And like you just brought up, this whole, well, we have to have it now so that they get enrolled in a school at the beginning of the semester. Oh, that's crap. How many of us were growing up and our parents moved? Okay, and all of a sudden we showed up in the middle of a school year at another school. Give me a break. Please, kids are taking classes online. They can't make this stuff up. Enough. Honestly, enough. Please. There's nothing more disruptive to college student athletics than the NCAA basketball tournament. Okay, please. I don't want to hear it. Kids don't go to school the whole month of March if they're a big-time college basketball player. So anyway, hope I answered some of your questions.
You did, but I mean, hey, that's fine. I'm not asking them to move it up by 3 weeks. And you've said many times, look, if you want to get rid of the conference championship games tomorrow, I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I do.
And David, if they played, and I know you don't want to get rid of rivalry weekends. Okay, I'll leave you alone for your SEC and Big Ten, although I think the Ohio State-Michigan thing's in the last 20 years. I'll double check. Because I know growing up it was the third Saturday of November. Okay. My whole life.
Okay.
But you want to leave the Big Ten rivalry weekend alone? Fine. You want to leave the SEC rivalry weekend alone? Fine. The conferences that need the championships are the ACC, the Big 12, and the Group of Six. Hell, I'll leave the Big 12 and the ACC out of it. David, I'll even grant you, for this moment in time, your 4-4-2-2 theory. 4 Big 10 teams, 4 SEC teams, 2 ACC, 2 Big 12. Figure out the rest of it however you want to figure it out. But if a Group of 6 teams involved, Why don't they play that Thanksgiving? Why don't those conferences move up? Because those conferences don't really matter. I mean, there's no game that Troy plays against or North Texas against Tulane that's a rivalry game to anybody.
Okay. I'll go along with that. And if they need to be the week 0 participants, okay, because they have to fit in a conference championship game at the end and the major conferences don't have one, that's fine. I mean, I don't understand why we can't just determine who the top 2 teams in the conference are based on regular season play and tiebreakers, rankings, etc. I mean, in 2 years' time, we now have diehard SEC fans that are saying, why are we even playing this game? So the games are already ruined. They are. They're already ruined.
Oh, there's no doubt. And, I brought up the point yesterday that all the Georgia people I know, with the exception of one, are not interested in the SEC championship. And trust me, if you replace Georgia with Florida, where we're listened to and where we do our show throughout this state, I think the Florida fan would feel the same. If they were in the same boat as Georgia right now, first off, they'd be doing cartwheels if they were in the same boat as Georgia right now. Let's be honest. But I think they'd feel the same way. You're right. When we went to 12, the conference championship games have been ruined. Ruined.
Yeah, and we said it at the time. We said, listen, you make this thing bigger, you're going to make some other stuff less important, especially the conference championship games. I'm sorry. You got to make a sacrifice. Everybody wants to have everything. There's not enough room unless you think you can have everything by starting the season in mid-August. And I got to tell you, I ain't interested. I ain't interested in the hockey season when the hockey season starts on October 3rd. I ain't interested in the NBA season when the NBA season starts on Columbus Day. It's too early for me. I'm not ready. You guys want to play your college football on August 16th? Knock yourself out. I ain't watching. I ain't interested. I'm not. If you guys are interested, fine. I ain't.
It is the one funny thing, David, and obviously we know how you feel about all of these sports. You love opening day in baseball more than any human I know. And they've moved that up. Yeah, and
it doesn't mean that. And it doesn't mean the same to me. In March 24th? No, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. Oh, well, the travel's too tough. Really? It's easier now than it's ever been. Please, stop it. My travel schedule's harder than yours. Shut up and play.
But I do think that they've, first off, the coaches are the ones that moved the portal. The coaches are the ones that come up with the signing day. Nobody else. It's not the ADs. It's the coaches telling the ADs when they want these dates. And when now that we're in a world where a coach has 3 years in college football, that seems to be it. You don't get it done in 3 years, you're fired. We're bringing someone else in. And the coaches are the ones that set most of these dates. So they've got to figure out a system because this coaching thing's not going to end, David. This multiple firing of big-time coaches is not going to end.
No.
This is here to stay. This is the new NCAA football. I don't know if he's new, but he's Seth Everett, and he's next. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Seth,
What's up? You guys are great. That was a great segment.
I thought so too. I put it down in the best of category.
That's just smart radio, and you weren't being phony either. You guys are like, you genuinely care, and I could care less about 90% of what you were talking about, and I was like, yes, absolutely, he's right. Love it.
Robes in right by the North Dakota, Minnesota line was curious as to what your Syracuse wardrobe was going to be today after last night's win.
Yeah, he flat out called Seth will be really excited. We'll be wearing the Syracuse wardrobe today. Called it an hour ago, which I and then I saw the shirt and just laughed my tail off.
Yeah.
By the way, David, I looked it up. I've got it here. It looks like 2010 was the year that they moved to Thanksgiving weekend, because they played November 21st in 2009 and November 27th in 2010. And the dates kind of correspond from that point forward.
So it was the weekend heading into Thanksgiving.
Michigan, Ohio State was always the third Saturday in November. Oh, that's when the Big Ten didn't play Thanksgiving weekend.
Right, because Syracuse would play Miami. When we were in the Big East, Syracuse would play Miami, and we went to that game my freshman year. We wouldn't have gone if it was Thanksgiving weekend, because Thanksgiving weekend you're not there.
Yeah, but we also played 11 regular season games. Okay, so it got pushed back because we went from 11 to 12.
I understand.
Okay, so they decided to push the season back as opposed to pushing it early. Okay. Well, left Twix, first off, you can run a business based on any feelings you want. But no, I understand. Okay. You shouldn't let it get personal. But I'm not saying I'm an average sports fan, but I mean, college football and with the longest layoff in all of sports. And listen, if you guys want your games in mid-August, play them in mid-August. I just won't be watching.
Play baseball in December.
Yeah, I just, we got baseball
Dream
now.
World Series.
We have
Cleveland
regular
and
season
Colorado.
We have regular season baseball the final week of March now. Okay, I think it's effing absurd. Absurd. Jackie Robinson's debut was on April 15th. That used to be right around opening day of baseball. Then it got moved up a week, so that opening day was right after the Masters, or right before the Masters, actually.
Or the Final Four.
Monday of National Championship, college hoop. Right.
Yep.
And we always thought they should hold off one day. We always thought that
all my college buddies went to the Final Four in New Orleans, and I couldn't go because it was baseball opening day.
Right. But you're going to have to make some sacrifices here. That nobody wants to give up anything. Then fine. Then it'll be a mess. And that's why most things in our country, quite frankly, now are a mess.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
We are halfway home on this hump day. So whenever we have Seth Everett on, it is right smack dab in the middle of our week. Now, we know for some of you in Port Charlotte and Venice and Lake City and Live Oak, you're like, yeah, you're 2 hours into a 3-hour show. Yeah, well, you guys only take us for another hour. Jacksonville, Tampa, St. Pete, Fort Myers, Naples, they take us for 2 more.
Who's
Miller and Moulton, MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. As predicted by Robes in North Dakota, Seth Everett joining us in, quite frankly, Mark, did you expect more than just a simple Syracuse t-shirt? I thought there was a possibility of a jersey today.
Well, I don't know if he has any, and the only one that he may have, if you had a Syracuse jersey, I would imagine it would be like the hockey jersey. Just even though they're not a hockey school, but a lot of, that became popular for a while. So I could see, because first off, I got to be honest, I'm sure there's a club hockey team there. A Syracuse hockey jersey would probably look pretty cool.
Actually, the best jersey for that in the American Hockey League, they did one of those like Winter Classic games in the dome, in the Carrier Dome. So the Syracuse Crunch, the American Hockey League team played a game in the dome in front of like 50,000 people, and they wore orange Syracuse Crunch jerseys. Those jerseys are sweet. I've seen those. Those are awesome.
I thought we were going to get some Carmelo, a little something today.
Carmelo shirt.
Okay, I just thought, but Syracuse with a big win last night. All right. Upsetting 13.
Quad one. That's a
Tennessee.
quad one win.
Yes, that's it. Yes.
Well played, Seth.
Well done, sir. Well done. How are you? How was your holiday?
I'm good. Thanksgiving was a success. Yeah, everybody's good. I hope you guys had a good one as well.
Love the pictures, by the way. Love the pictures of you and your daughters that you sent at the Devils game. That was a lot. I even showed my son because he was down. I'm like, I go, because he's a Red Wings fan. I go, how cool is this? Because he and I have never been to a Red Wing game together. He's rooted for the Wings his whole life because of me, but we've never been to a game, and we're talking about going because I've not been to the new arena. And I showed him that picture. I'm like, how cool is this? And he even thought it was very
cool. Super fun. Yeah, that was a great night. They played the night before Thanksgiving, so it kind of it wasn't school the next day, and it went overtime and the whole thing. It was a great time with the kids. Yeah, I had the girls. Just a quirk in our schedule. I had them for 7 straight days, so it's been a lot. Today's my first day without them in 7 days. I'm not a little excited.
A lot of places I go. So did you cook Thanksgiving dinner?
Yeah, I cooked. Yeah.
And what grade would you give yourself, whether you want to use the ABCD schedule or you want to use a 1 to 10? How do you think you did?
For what they wanted, it was like a 9. For everybody else's Thanksgiving, it's probably like a 6. You know what I'm saying? It's not very traditional. It's
What did you
turkey,
make for? Did you make turkey?
string
Okay,
beans, and sweet potato.
all right.
It's Thanksgiving adjacent. It's fine. It's Jewish Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving-ish, right?
Thanksgiving adjacent. By the way, I'm curious, since you had your girls for the full week, does that mean a full week of no contact with the hot neighbor?
No, we had the hot neighbor. We combined the Thanksgivings for dessert. So we watched the second half of Chiefs Cowboys, merging the families. It was nice.
Wow, so the daughters are okay being in the same room with the hot neighbor.
He's not dating the hot neighbor, of course
They don't call her the hot neighbor.
Well, I know that. You called her that, and now
Correct.
we refer to her as that.
Correct.
By the way, I'm going to go out on a limb, Seth, that they've noticed that she's a hot neighbor. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say they've noticed.
They're aware of her.
Right.
Yeah. But she has an 11-year-old niece, so she was there, and it was very lovely. Very lovely.
Good for you.
Very lovely.
Good for you.
I love the fact that
his soccer team's doing well. Syracuse won last night. The Devils are playing great hockey. There is not much for Seth to complain about right now.
No.
Although if there is, go ahead.
No, my complaints are just work complaints, but those are not for public consumption. Things are good. The only issue that I find is because of the Olympics. And I don't know if you've been reading a little bit about the Olympic hockey. We
haven't gotten to it. Miller and Moulton are all over it, but we haven't discussed it on the show. So go ahead.
Yeah. So the arena is not finished.
Oh, it's more than that.
And it's too small.
There we go.
It's 4 feet too small.
And
it's not like they're playing in the old Boston Garden, everybody.
I don't want you
relax.
This thing. Get them out. Just pull them out. I don't. Nope. Nope.
Well,
somebody's going to lose their arm.
Okay. To be honest, though, you were against them playing in the Olympics to begin with, so you're looking for any
selfishly,
excuse.
I am. I understand why you should do it, and it's going to be a great tournament, and I plan to watch the whole thing, and
But Italy's had how many years to get ready for the Olympics? 8, 10, something like that. A, the arena's still not ready, and B, if it is ready on time, that the ice surface is not regulation.
One of the stories reminded me of a story that I have that I went to 2 of. When they build an arena, you have to do a flush off.
Excuse me?
I've been to 2 flush offs. I went to the one for Safeco Field, now T-Mobile Park, and I went to the one for the Prudential Center.
Hold on.
And what they do is they usually invite families of the construction workers and people who worked on the building and anybody who's affiliated with the team. They fill the place, and then everybody who walks into the stadium gets assigned a bathroom, and you have to go to a toilet, a urinal, or a sink. And they'll have a countdown. They'll play music, and they do a whole thing, and then they'll do a countdown, and they'll say, all right, 3, 2, 1. And everyone has to flush whatever they're doing because they have to test the plumbing and identify leaks. And it's a super fun night. I went to the one at Safeco Field, and I thought it was the funniest thing in the world. We had such a great time. And then the Prudential Center got built about 10 years ago, or I guess a little longer than that. And they invited media members to go to the thing, and it was super fun. They can't do that, and this was in one of the articles. They cannot do that for the Italian hockey arena, and they're worried about plumbing leaks.
I got to tell you, all I'm thinking of, and this maybe shows how sophomoric my sense of humor is the Beavis and Butthead movie right now, where they discovered the automatic urinals at Glacier National Park or whatever it was. Yeah. And everybody's watching Old Faithful, and Beavis and Butthead are flushing the toilets. And that's when you did that. That's all I could think of, Seth. I'm sorry.
Well, the Prudential Center, I used to make fun of the Prudential Center because if you go into the I know about the men's room, I don't know about the ladies' room, but the handles of the urinals and the toilets have New Jersey Devils logos engraved onto the fixture. And there's no way that's cheaper than auto flush. I
No.
don't understand. You spent more money to make something gross.
It was always when arena advertising took a left turn and said, we're putting ads on everything.
Yeah.
The first time you walked into a ballpark, a hockey arena or whatever, and you went to the urinal and you looked down and there was an advertisement there, I went, wow, we've really
Crossed
jumped the
line,
shark
yeah.
here, haven't we?
To that end, I can't stand the digital ads on hockey games. You know, when you're watching them on TV and they're not showing the ads that are in the regular
Right,
arena.
they're covering them up with the stuff
hate
they're
that.
selling. Well, they do that in baseball too. I mean, networks can project their own advertising over.
But they have individual ones. So, like, if the Orioles are playing the Red Sox, the Baltimore, even if they're the road team, they're seeing personalized Baltimore-centric ads.
I think so, Seth. I'm not positive, but I always get a kick out of it in hockey because when it's the main camera, essentially, your play-by-play camera that's giving you 80%, maybe 90% of the footage comes from one camera in hockey. Then they go to the low end zone camera, if you will. You see the dasher boards.
Correct.
Because they only can do it with basically the main camera.
My argument is that when you're watching this and they're showing an ad for something like the local hospital in my town, when they're in Ottawa, it feels weird. It doesn't look right. It doesn't look natural. And I don't think you're accomplishing what you're setting out to do. And I don't know. I don't know how much money the league makes for those ads, but it's off-putting. It's very weird.
I'm just loving the fact that we're doing a segment on flushing toilets and dasher advertising.
Well, when I saw that in the article for the Italy arena, I said, I'm bringing that up to these guys.
I'm glad you did. I will say the other part of this for you hockey fans out there, those people that pay a lot more attention than the three of us do. The Four Nations was great. U.S. won the first one. Canada won the second one. If you look at the rosters of these potential rosters of the Olympic teams, we're a little behind Team Canada. I mean, they've gotten better. We've stayed the same. I mean, the young great players in the league are largely Canadian right now. So I'm curious as to how close the two nations are. And to me, until Russia can play, it's not real anyhow.
Yeah, I want to see. I will see. We'll see what happens. I did see they also announced they're going to bring back the Gold Zone, which for your listeners, it's like the equivalent of the NFL's Red Zone channel, where they're going to have it live in like 7 a.m. And it's going to go from sport to sport to sport to sport to sport to event. And it's hosted by Scott Hansen from the NFL Red Zone. And my boy, Andrew Siciliano, is going to host it too.
Oh, good ears.
So, good.
Yeah,
the two of them did it for the Paris Olympics, and they're doing it again for Italy. So I think that's great.
As long as they break into the biathlon, there's nothing I like more than cross-country skiing combined with shooting.
Event, ping pong, this, bing, 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 bing. I love it.
30 seconds, Sports with Friends Hall of Justice. A, are you doing them both? And if so, what are they?
Yeah, both. Carlos Alcaraz, the number one tennis player in the world. Carlos Alcaraz, it's out. I saw it's on Spotify and Apple. Carlos Alcaraz. And then for Hall of Justice, it's Gen V, which is the show on Amazon Prime that's breaking all the records. Season 2 recently completed, and we review Gen V tomorrow on the Hall of Justice.
He's Seth Everett. Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice. Follow him on X at Seth_Everett. Seth, say hi to the hot neighbor tonight since you won't have your girls for the first time in a week.
She's away until Sunday.
Oh, wow.
Boy, you're all alone, Seth.
Yeah.
No kids. No hot neighbor, just you and the Devils tonight. Sounds like
Arsenal and Devils. Yep, tonight.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
There's something magical about the holidays, and at the Diamond District, it's the season we look forward to all year long.
The lights, the laughter, the feeling of giving. That moment someone opens a gift that truly sparkles.
When you walk through our doors, our team is ready to welcome you with warmth and expert guidance. No pressure, just people who love helping you create unforgettable moments.
Stunning diamond jewelry to wrap up the wonder of the season.
The Diamond District, se habla español.
At the Diamond District.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Shocked face, Adam. Shocked face.
By the way, Adam, I don't know why it matters. The Jags are contractually obligated to cover all the cost overruns. So who cares? And secondly, imagine the city without the Jaguars. So just honestly, what does it matter? I mean, first off, whatever costs it costs, they're worth it. And secondly, they have to pay, not the city. So, exactly, Skip. Texas gets in over Vandy. Right.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Our poll question today. So, you want a computer or you want a committee? Who do you want deciding who plays in the college football playoffs? By the way, Mark, is this year going to help us or hurt us get to 16? Because there would be no discussion, none, if it was 16. Zero, zilch, nada. Because you got BYU, Miami, Texas, and Vandy lined up. That's it. Okay? They'd be the next 4. That fills out your 16. The only thing we'd be talking about is seeding.
Well, wait a minute. Okay, so you're going to Vandy. All right. So, yeah, you're adding the ACC champ or the James Madison or whatever it would be, 15, 16. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, like they could debate if by chance the winner of Virginia-Duke doesn't qualify. Like Virginia's at 17. Let's just say they beat Duke. And they're not willing to put Virginia, okay, well, Virginia would be ahead of the other conference champions, so they'd be in. But my guess is, Mark, if they go to 16, they'll still have the 5 automatic conference champions. I don't think in future years when it's 16 that Duke winning the ACC this year would get in. But Miami would be in. How asinine is that? If that doesn't show the ACC that their tiebreaker system is totally wrong, I mean, Mark, you said earlier, apparently these people are into data points. That seems like a pretty big data point.
Yeah. Well, that's the committee. The ACC, I would have been happier if the ACC would have had a game of beer pong to determine the team representing them than how they did this. This is a joke.
It is.
This is the story that's getting swept under the rug, because now we're talking about James Madison perhaps making the college football playoff. I mean, really and truly. I was asked yesterday by a friend, are you okay with the group of 6 teams getting in? Or should they get in? And I said, probably not, but it was done to prevent a lawsuit.
Totally.
That's it. Okay, yeah. That's the reason. That's how they got this pushed through, so that they don't get sued by, at that time, group of 5, now group of 6 conferences. Okay.
Yeah. I don't understand. Why is it okay in basketball and not okay in football? Why is it okay in baseball and softball? I don't understand. What is the problem? You don't think the big schools have had enough of an opportunity to qualify for the playoff? You don't think they have every single advantage? Really? Really? There's not room. Okay, for James Madison to go to Oregon and get the snot beat out of him? Really? So you want to see what?
Miami. I mean, to be brutally honest, they want to see Miami.
Okay. Miami had their chances. I don't get, when did we stop hating the little guy? Seriously, I'm sorry. I think everybody's buying in to the propaganda. I mean, seriously, you're buying into Walmart and Costco. Screw Main Street. Screw the little guy in the business. Seriously, why do we want to continue to reward bigger?
And that's what we're doing when we expand the college basketball tournament, by the way. I mean, that's what this, mark our words. You and I, David, have talked about this for several years. When they go from 68 to 72 or whatever the hell they're going to do.
76.
Do you really think that this means South Florida's got a better shot at a bid than a 500 Miami team in conference?
8 extra bids in the NCAA men's and women's tournaments. How many of them you think go to the power conferences, and how many you think go to the mid-majors and smaller conferences?
7 to 1. 7 to 1.
I was going to say, I'll bet 6 to 2 on average. I think a phenomenal year for the mid-majors and small conferences would be a 5-3 split where they get 3. That would be an amazing year for the mid-majors.
Because in basketball, even more so than any other sport, baseball could make the claims as well, but not really. But basketball, more than any other sport, a good mid-major has a really difficult time getting games scheduled against Power 4 conference teams.
They can't get them scheduled. Forget getting them at home. Forget getting them on a neutral court. You won't get the power conferences to schedule the good mid-majors. Even if it's a what is it that Seth referred to it as? Okay, last night's Syracuse win was a what? A quad one win?
Quad one win.
Even if there are certain mid-majors in which that's a quad one game.
The Zags are the only team, and it's only taken them 2 generations to get the respect that they deserved probably 20 years ago. They're it. I mean, think about it. San Diego State, brief moment. That's gone. Florida Atlantic, brief moment. That's gone.
Listen, why would these 75 other schools even play the highest level of college football if it wasn't for the 1 or 2 playoff spots that are possibly out there for them? I mean, do you want to turn this into a 48-team sport? No, seriously, if you do, that's fine. I don't want any part of it. I don't. By the way, if you turned into a 48, 64-team sport, you only play each other, you know. Wait to see what your team's records are going to be at the end of the year. Yeah, those 3 cupcakes that you schedule, they ain't around anymore. Oklahoma State can only schedule so many non-conference games, if you know what I mean. There's no UMass for you to get a W. There's no JV team before your big conference rival.
Purdue can only play 3 of you.
Exactly.
I had to laugh. Bruce Feldman, I think we've had Bruce on the show before, but he last night, just went off. Like, I hate this whole effing thing. And the comments underneath were all by respected college football people. The Nicole Arbachs, the Josh Pates, they all just with memes laughing because it's like, Danny Cannell, it took you this long, huh, Bruce? I mean, It's just, the committee's just going to do whatever they want. Yeah, they are.
Uh-huh. By the way, before that, it was the AP voters and the UPI voters. They did whatever they want. Okay? And then for 20 years, we had a computer, and we didn't fully understand the computer system, but the info was plugged in, and it spit out what it spit out. And by the way, it spit out Florida State playing Oklahoma and not Miami when they played and Miami won. And the two schools had the same record.
What's that line you say, David? To err is human?
But to really things up, you need a computer.
So that's our poll question today, by the way. Who do you want to decide the college football playoff teams? A committee or the computer? Right now, nearly 2-1 saying the computer. That's how much disdain people have for the college football playoff committee. And we could go back and go through BCS year after year as to how many times it didn't seem like it worked out the right way. There is no perfect solution. And as we got into it last hour, or earlier this hour, it was last hour, the conference championship games need to go away. They're not going to because they're a cash cow for the conferences. And as David pointed out, without some sort of sacrifice, you can't fix anything. But no one's willing to sacrifice anything.
Nope.
No one.
No. Every conference is out for their own self-interest. They're not out for the interest of the sport. They're not. So you're never going to get it the way you want it. Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512. This December, watch the nation's best high school basketball players compete in the City of Palms Classic. Fort Myers will once again welcome future college and NBA stars as they square off at Suncoast Arena from December 18th through the 23rd. Come see Southwest Florida's own Bishop Verreau versus Barron Collier on Sunday night, December 21st. For tournament information, please visit cityofpalmsclassic.com. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Adam, it all depends on television. If it's a good TV product and people are interested, yeah, it'll happen. And I agree with you, fam. I think it's awful that the Big 12 and the ACC are going to get one team each. I do. I think the sport's better the bigger it is. More national, less regional. And the SEC is the best. It's the deepest. It's the best. Excuse me. It's where the talent's going. I get it. I think the sport was better when there was a Pac-12.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till Chris Perkins joins us at the top of the hour to talk about the Dolphins and their 3-game winning streak. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Joining us now on the American Paint Supplies Hotline, your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. Bud Elliott, 24/7 Sports, CBS Sports, Cover 3 podcast, and not as frequently as before, Nolecast. Follow him on X at Bud Elliott, 2 L's, 2 T's, the number 3, Bud Elliott 3. By the way, very quickly, Bud, besides, hope you had a happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for joining us. 30 seconds or less on the Noles. Is the president and AD of the university essentially signed their resignation by going down the road that they're going down? It's just a matter of it's now going to be dated a year from now?
President, maybe not. AD, I would be surprised if he's a long-term solution there. Honestly, I think he has overextended them a good bit on facilities at a time when most other schools were dropping facilities projects or scaling them down quite a bit to put money into player development, salary, all that kind of stuff. So, it's not a good situation. I have no hope for this, and that's why we're paring down Nolecast from 90 episodes a year to about 30.
Talk to me about the Gators, because today's signing day. Obviously, Summerall, the new coach, he's hired a couple of coordinators. Your thoughts on the hire, the coordinators that are being talked about, and how it's affecting today, National Signing Day?
So, honestly, I would rather have John Summerall at that price than Lane Kiffin at that price. Just flat out. I think Summerall is a really good coach. He's won at more places than Lane Kiffin's won, right? And I think he's a hell of a recruiter. He was one of the primary reasons why, Kentucky was good when he was there. He turned around Troy. They won the Sun Belt both times. He did a really nice job there at Tulane. I think the guy's a heck of a coach. He comes off as a defensive, gruff, tough guy. And I think his teams, play tough, but he's not must champion in being just an absolute caveman as far as analytics and refusing to score points. They do like to score points.
With what's going on with Penn State's recruiting class, have we ever seen anything like it? I mean, there are some surveys that have them in the 130s, if you will, behind dozens of FCS schools, where if James Franklin was still there, it would have been a top 15 class?
Yeah, I would say so. Now, look, the 27 class, so next year's signing class in the state of Pennsylvania is loaded. So, that's the class you really got to focus in on. This year in Pennsylvania is just okay. If you didn't have the transfer portal, they would be in serious trouble. But obviously, you can go out and portal a class in to paper over some depth issues this year and basically punt on 26. It's far from ideal, but obviously, they've botched this coaching search pretty hard. It's clear they told some other guys who signed over the weekend, like a Bob Chesney or Golesh, that they were moving in a different direction. And I think that direction was that they thought they had Kalani Sitake, and obviously BYU ponied up to keep them, which I think should have been foreseeable. If you're BYU, you have to hire an LDS coach. That pool of potential coaches is maybe 2 or 3 deep in the entire country. So Kalani Sitake is worth so much more to BYU than he is to Penn State. So it's not surprising to me, and we were first guessing this on the show, that BYU ponied up to keep him. So now Penn State is potentially kind of screwed. Maybe not if they go get Jeff Brom from Louisville. Is Brian Daboll really a coach who's going to get people excited? You fire James Franklin to hire Brian Daboll? Not saying it can't work, but I wouldn't bet on it.
All right. I know you hate the committee, and we all know that they are going to do whatever the hell they want. But your thoughts, how bad does it look moving Alabama up after beating a 5-7 Auburn team over Notre Dame? We thought they should have been there in the first place. Is there now room for them to jump Miami over Notre Dame, or should none of this matter, and next week we'll just figure out what it is the committee wants to do?
So, look, I always say, like, none of these matter until the final one, because I truly believe that that's just how they do it. However, I think they were conscious of the fact that if Bama lost to Georgia, they wouldn't have much of a logical argument to then jump them over Notre Dame. So they had to get ahead of the rigging it a week early. And this is where, being on the committee, you probably hate having to do these weekly rankings, right? Because all of a sudden you have to be, like, at least a little bit conscious of the fact that, like, you got to pretend the week-to-week stuff matters a little bit, even though they say that every week is a clean slate, which is pretty clearly not true. So, yeah, I think that, like, they were very smart to put Bama over Notre Dame, and we called this out on the show. I said, look, they're going to have to rig this thing a week in advance, because otherwise, like, it would just be complete hypocrisy if they jump Bama over Notre Dame after losing to Georgia. So you need to make sure they're starting over the Irish now. Again, though, the main reason why they had to do this is because they were just completely – this is just dumb where they started Notre Dame in week 11, right? Like, Notre Dame was a two-loss team with very few quality wins at that point. You figured they'd win out. You could allow people to lose around them, which would naturally move them up in the rankings. But when they started them so high, they kind of backed themselves into this weird corner.
Well, and we pointed it out, along with you guys on Cover 3, we pointed it out at least 2 weeks ago that Bama should have been ahead of Notre Dame in the early rankings, and this was going to potentially cause a problem. Are you like us convinced, and we're talking with Bud Elliott, are you like us convinced that if you are in a major conference championship game and you lose it, that you are still in the playoff? Because what we're talking about here is Texas Tech and potentially Alabama. You're convinced if they lose, they're still in, yes or no?
Mixed answer. So for the SEC or Big Ten, I think yes, always. I think for the Big 12, and the ACC, it's sometimes. So I think Texas Tech, if they lose this Big 12 championship game, that they're still going to be in, because of the fact they've killed basically everyone, and their only other loss came when their quarterback missed the game, right? But I don't think that, like, that kind of grace is going to extend as an automatic rule to the ACC and to the Big 12 on an annual basis.
Alabama wins, BYU wins. What's the top four look like?
Okay, so it would be Ohio State, Indiana, Alabama, Texas. Oh, wait, you said in BYU wins?
Yeah.
Okay, so Ohio State, Indiana, Alabama, Georgia.
Okay.
So you think that Georgia would be ahead of Oregon?
I do.
Okay. So therefore, did the committee then set up last night that if BYU upsets Texas Tech, Notre Dame is out?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you really think they will go through with that?
Yes. I don't know, like, logically, who else would you drop?
Texas Tech.
Texas Tech? I don't think they would drop Texas Tech for losing the Big 12 title game. That would be a huge drop.
Yeah. Now, James Madison being 25, that was significant to us, Bud, because David yesterday, he said he bet me that Duke would be 25. I refused to take the bet because I was scared the committee might do that. If Duke beats Virginia, do you think they will put them ahead of James Madison, providing James Madison does what they're supposed to do and wins and covers and blows out Troy?
I do. And, like, I don't understand how that's 20-1 for Duke to make the playoff right now. I understand, like, what are they, probably 30% to beat UVA? I mean, like that. I don't think they should be 20-1. I think the committee could easily look at it and say, yes, they have 5 losses. They also have 3 or 4 better wins than JMU's best win. And JMU played one team with real athletes in Louisville, and their offense was completely shut down, and it looked like they didn't belong.
You surprised the JMU guy's going to take the UCLA job, by the way? Because that seems like a death sentence going to UCLA.
I just think you got to get out of these G5s as soon as you have a good season. To be honest, it sounds like Penn State said we're good, so UCLA is like the best remaining option for him.
I think we've lost David. I think he froze up on me. That's why the pause was there. Is just because
much like people are like, "Hey, Galesh might stay." I'm like, Galesh is not staying. USF's going to lose their special players off that roster. We already know agents who are in on these guys, and like teams who want their best players. Like if you're at a G5, you have got to get out as soon as you have a good season.
Will he bring the quarterback with him, Bud?
Guy UTSA.
Will he bring the quarterback with him?
I don't know. I think it's going to depend on December 16th, they're going to hear this injunction, right, as to whether you should get 5 years to play 5, which would essentially just eliminate the red shirt, right, and make all the accounting in football and all the other sports a lot easier. If that happens, you're going to have probably 6 or 7 well-known veteran quarterbacks who aren't necessarily like high NFL picks who are going to all of a sudden have an extra year of eligibility. And those guys are going to be like top dollar guys. So maybe Auburn goes after one of them. I don't think they'll keep the kid that were running out there against Alabama.
So what about Sellers at South Carolina? Because he could go, and he probably is a day 2 draft pick, but he'll make a hell of a lot more money if he stays at South Carolina or transfers to wherever. I would stay. Are we going to see more of that coming up with quarterbacks?
No, I think Sellers is leaving.
Okay.
So like some of the top quarterbacks out there, Sellers, Levitt at Arizona State, Thorsby at Cincinnati, Raiola at Nebraska. Those are the kids right now who agents expect to move.
Right. Okay. The last one on the playoff that I've got to get to is that there are people out there that believe if BYU loses, now Miami's 1 spot behind Notre Dame. And they weren't, he made the comment, well, they're not in the same tier, so head-to-head doesn't matter. If one's ranked 10th and one's ranked 11th, aren't they in the same tier? Is there a way for Miami to leapfrog Notre Dame still?
I think there is. I mean, this is where it's like hard to model this committee behavior. For some reason, they think Notre Dame's a lot better than Miami, despite the fact that Miami beat Notre Dame. And Notre Dame's lost some pretty key defensive players in the last month who won't be returning for this season. So I do think there's a chance. Yeah, like if I'm a Miami fan, I'm not real hopeful, but I'm not hopeless.
All right, conference championship games. Best chance of an upset is?
Well, Bama. DeBoer seems to have the coaching edge over the Nick Saban tree of defenses every time he faces it. So until they solve his offense, I'm going to pick Bama.
Better shot.
He absolutely whipped Lanning both times that they faced him at Oregon. He put up 31 on Kirby in Athens just like to start the game in the first half. He just seems to solve this Saban tree of defenses.
Better shot to win, BYU or Duke?
Oh, Duke for sure. UVA doesn't have special athletes. Texas Tech has a defensive line that you just don't see in that league.
Tulane or North Texas? Who wins the American?
I kind of think Tulane. That started out 3.5, and now it's slightly under. I think Tulane may have something for him. North Texas is really good though. They have real skill players, and the quarterback is a legitimate player. He's another one who I should have mentioned. If it doesn't follow Morris to Oklahoma State, which I think a lot of people expect him to do, he'll be one of the top guys on the market for sure.
When you look at what Franklin's done by bringing all those recruits with him, and if he can do anything in the portal, and we know Virginia Tech's committed financially to football. They talked about that before this season began. Can they turn it around really quickly in the ACC?
Absolutely. Guys, Florida State's not going anywhere fast. Clemson has a terrible recruiting class by its standards, and they're losing almost all their best players to the draft. This feels like the last hurrah for Dabo at Clemson this year. I expect them to be way worse next year. They don't really use the portal effectively. In Miami should still be there because they're building a championship roster every year, and I expect them to keep spending. So if you assume Miami's 1 in the league, why can't Tech go up and be 2?
A school or two today that's going to do really well that doesn't normally get talked about in recruiting is?
West Virginia. I don't know where this came from, but all of a sudden they have found a ton of money in the final month, and they are absolutely spending. So West Virginia is definitely one to watch. And then the race for number one, you can watch us all day on the 24/7 Sports YouTube channel here. We're out of the CBS offices in Lauderdale. Oregon or USC will finish number one, and it'll be the first time since 2008 the SEC did not have a top two team in recruiting.
What's the highest price being paid for a 5-star quarterback? What's it cost? Give us an idea for the people listening of what it costs to get a player right now that's coming out of high school.
Less than a minute.
As far as like year one commitment or like total promise?
Total promise.
Total promise, I think like $7 million. But that's over like 4 years, right? For year one, I think $1.5 million, or maybe $2 million actually is the work is like, I think that's the highest I actually believe. Like you hear rumors about other stuff. Look, guys, Houston is signing the number one player in the country, Keyshawn Henderson, the quarterback who plays there in Houston. Vanderbilt is keeping 5-star quarterback Jared Curtis. He flipped from Georgia. He's from there in Tennessee. We have 21 5-stars. 21 different schools are going to 5-star or are signing a 5-star this year. That's the most we've ever had. Like the talent is clearly spreading around more in the sport. More teams have hope than they ever have had before.
He's Bud Elliott. We're Miller and Moulton. American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
When Glass Doctor replaces your windshield, we don't just send you on your way, we send you off protected. Your local Glass Doctor includes the industry's only 12-month windshield protection plan at no extra cost. That means unlimited chip repairs and even a one-time replacement if needed. High-quality service backed by real peace of mind, right here in your neighborhood.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Exclusions apply. See your local Glass Doctor for
Your
details.
roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Football season is back, and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton sent you.
Basketball's heating up the hardwood. What a great time to stop in at the Floor Meisters and look at their hardwood. A large selection to choose from, including Mirage hardwood flooring. Floor Meisters has a look and style you want. Mirage wood is grown and made in Canada from the finest quality wood flooring you'll find. And while you're in, ask to see the Petite Enfant collection. 5 custom colors made only for the Floor Meisters. So good it has a 35-year warranty. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard, next to Costco, or floormeisters.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Sorry about that. We had a power failure. I had to go
Yeah,
get.
Not worry. I sometimes your head doesn't move when you're doing the show, and I don't know if you're frozen or not. That's the only thing that freaks me out. Question for you: do you have the ability to add and remove yourself from the stage? You should, because you set up. Like if you hover over your picture at the bottom, or
Yeah.
can you take yourself on and off stage?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So know that when you come back on, you can just add yourself.
Okay.
Because as we go forward and the things that are going on go on, you're probably going to have to do some of that.
Yep. I just had to go dig my MiFi out of my bag because now I'm on as if I was in a hotel room.
Come over here.
Miami Dolphins number 1. What's going on, Chris? You got us? That construction's never going to end there.
I know.
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you just fine. Can you hear us?
It's a little bit low for some reason.
Huh.
Nothing different on our end, but
Hang on for 1 second here.
all right.
We hear the construction.
Okay.
Hello, 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 hello.
There we go. That's better. There we go.
All right.
By the way, we've just decided, okay, that the Dolphin season could end. We're going to keep having weekly visits from you until we no longer hear the construction. Then we know it's done. At that point, you're free and clear of any Miller and Moulton obligations.
Okay, that'll be a couple of years, but I'm up for it. Might be longer the way it's looking.
Unbelievable.
Oh, man.
You get back okay?
Yeah,
Travels?
I got back fine and everything. Yep. Hang on for 1 second here. All right. Yeah, had a great trip. Had a great trip home.
Good.
How was y'all's Thanksgiving?
Fantastic.
Good deal.
Had
Good to hear.
a bunch of Northerners eating greens for the first time, and they loved it.
Ah, there you go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Diamond District bonus hour on this hump day, and so that means it's time for Chris Perkins, he of the Sun Sentinel, sun-sentinel.com. Follow him on X at Chris Perk, P-E-R-K. So did Thanksgiving week on the road go well? Did you get in the 3 food items you said you needed to get in to make it a successful family trip?
I got in 2 of them. I had the chicken fried steak and the Mexican food. Did not have any barbecue, but still, it was a great trip home. No family arguments. Everybody was happy. Everybody was in a good mood. So I report success, baby, success.
Outstanding.
Nice.
Hey, it's pretty funny. A comment in our chat room on YouTube and Twitch says, because for those that are taking in the show video, Chris always has the stadium as a backdrop. And he said, was that picture taken during the Dolphins Saints game based on the number of people that are there? All right. Hey, they won. They keep winning. There were so many ugly things about it, but we can't sit there and say a win's a win for the Broncos and a win's not a win for the Dolphins. They did what they needed to do. They are now officially, Chris, in the hunt, although none of us really believe that. But they've changed. They've managed to change who they are during a season. And, Chris, they're becoming the team I think you wanted them to be, a run-first football team.
Yeah, they really have. Devon Achane has at least 120 yards rushing in each of the last 3 games. That coincides with this 3-game winning streak. Tua has had 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions during this winning streak, and the most passes that he's attempted were the 23 that he attempted last week against New Orleans. So Tua's role has been minimized. Achane's role has been accentuated. The offensive line is doing a good job at run blocking. Pass protection is still a little bit spotty. Tua took 4 sacks last week, some of them his fault. By the way, I'm sure we'll talk about this. Tua just does not look like the same quarterback, and we have talked about that before. But my hat is off to Mike McDaniel and to Devon Achane. McDaniel for recognizing what this team should be, and Devon Achane for carrying out that plan. He's a guy who, if you notice, he falls forward on when he's being tackled, which is impressive for a 191-pound speed running back. Nice job by the Dolphins offensively.
Okay, let's discuss that. He's arguably the best player on the team now. Yep. Is he built that he can be the guy, if you know what I mean? Or is this a guy who is just going to break down because he's 191 pounds?
This is interesting, David. This gets into the contract extension talks, right? So this is Devon Achane's 3rd year. He's eligible for a contract extension after this season. I think he should get it. That's what I wrote after the game. I think a good model is the 4-year, $78 million deal that Buffalo running back James Cook got, $30 million guaranteed. But you do wonder with Achane, he's 191 pounds. Like you said, is he built for the long haul? NFL running backs have a short shelf life, and small running backs have an even shorter shelf life. So if it is a rebuilding Dolphins team interested in giving a contract extension to a 191-pound running back, I think you should, because he runs the ball well. He's a good receiver. He can do a lot of things for you. He does not have to be your number 1 offensive option. Maybe you draft a better wide receiver, a Tyreek Hill type wide receiver. Maybe you acquire a better quarterback during the time of Achane's contract extension, and he's a great complementary number 2 piece. But I would re-sign him because he's a valuable piece of the offense that can help you win. He's versatile, and his durability has improved as he has gone on.
Is the Bills game the outlier? And I know they've won, but I mean, they scored 21 against the Saints with Minka running back a 2-point safety, if you will. They scored 16 against the Commanders, 6 against the Ravens. So offensively, it's better, I guess, because they've won. But is the offense anywhere near good enough?
No. Oh, heck no. They're doing what they have to do. They scored 1 touchdown against New Orleans. Hats off to kicker Riley Patterson for having the 4 field goals, right? But, this to me is kind of what you see from teams that are middling, 7 wins, 8 wins, 9 wins. They can swing just kind of, wildly from week to week, from month to month. And that's what we're seeing from the Dolphins here. That the 31-10 win over Buffalo, I think it was 31-10, right? That is the game that really stands out as, it makes this winning streak legit. It makes the things that we're seeing here, or the 4 out of 5. It really lends some strong credibility to what we're seeing. But at the same time, reality comes in. As you say, when you look at what the offense has done in some of these games, you kind of see what this team really is. So it's a team that's prone to wild swings both directions. the defense really isn't that great. It has been able to make timely plays, right? It allowed 172 rushing yards to Washington, but you come up with the Jack Jones interception against Washington and the Ethan Bonner fumble on the punt return and the Jack Jones, the Minkah Fitzpatrick pick two. So it's timely. This isn't a good team. It's a team that is able to come up with some good plays to win games, but that's kind of what we're looking at here.
So therefore, and this sounds stupid, and I'll apologize right now. Therefore, is what they're doing a good thing? I mean, think about what we've just said. The quarterback is broken. He's not good enough. Yep. Is this a good offense? Hell no. Is this a good defense? Not really. They've just managed lately to bend but not break effectively, and they've made a couple plays. I mean, there's a part of me as a Dolphin fan, I'm like, this is killing us. We were in line for a top 5 pick. Now we're going to pick 13th when we're really a bottom 8 team.
Yeah, no, I hear you. But look, here's the flip side of it. As this team has ascended, we've seen the 2025 draft class ascend, right? Kenneth Grant and Jonas Avai-Naya, Dante Trader, Jordan Phillips, Zeke Biggers coming on, Jason Marshall Jr. You're seeing who can play on that offensive line. You're seeing who can play in the secondary, right? Rasul Douglas and Jack Jones, maybe both of them could come back next season. So these are the things that to me are valuable as you move ahead. This, you're blowing some draft position, but you're really finding out who can play, who should you stick with. I think that's more valuable. The known, the guys on your roster, as opposed to the unknown draftees. Find out about the known, and that's what the Dolphins are doing. That's valuable.
Well, the one thing that is known is that Stephen Ross doesn't like to make changes.
Yes.
Is what's going on right now and the couple of moves they made and didn't make leading you to believe that the interim GM, Champ Kelly, is going to be the permanent GM? Because we all know he has to work with McDaniel, and the more they win, the more likely McDaniel sticks around for next year.
Yeah, I do think it is making that more likely. And really, I think a big thing that's driving this is Tua's finances, right? That if you get rid of him, it's a $99 million bill that you can pay in 1 year, or you can split, make him a June 1st cut, $67 million in 2026, $32 million in 2027. But I think Steve Ross's thinking is we're going to owe this guy $99 million. I want to get as much value as I can from him. So I'll keep him for 2026. I'll keep Mike McDaniel because he works well with Tua. And we've heard Mike McDaniel saying he works well with Champ Kelly. So it might be path of least financial resistance. Chris Greer becomes the scapegoat and you keep it moving for 1 more year. I think that's a mistake. I think you're delaying the inevitable. I would take a broom to the organization. But you're right, Mark. It's the more they win, the more likely it is Mike McDaniel stays with Tua.
Chris Perkins, Sun Sentinel, sun-sentinel.com. Follow him on X at Chris Perk, P-E-R-K. All right, listen. If they can beat the Jets at Monday night in Pittsburgh against clearly a struggling, vulnerable Steelers team, no matter if they win this week or not, I mean, now all of a sudden, Dallas has gotten off the mat. Houston's gotten off the mat. I mean, Chris, it's possible the Dolphins are 7-7 in mid-December. I mean, how possible do you think it is?
I think it's very possible. Listen, one of the big stumbling blocks for the Dolphins is the calendar has changed now. Under Mike McDaniel, they're 11-3 in November, but in December and January, they're 7-10, 2-7 on the road. Their next 2 games are road games. I'm not really paying too much attention to the opponent. I'm paying attention to the circumstance, right? December road games at New York, at Pittsburgh. Let's see if this team has progressed. Let's see if they can do things they haven't previously done under Mike McDaniel. To me, the circumstance outweighs the opponent. Let's see how they can deal with the circumstance. Road games in December.
And certainly when you look at the Jets, they haven't quit. They can't. It's a new coach. They're trying. He's not going to allow it because they're trying to build something. But boy, oh boy, you start looking around. I mean, there's a lot of 8-4 at wild card right now, but the Colts are reeling. If you're a Dolphin fan and actually want this to work out, you better become a Jags fan really quickly because the Colts need to fall apart. But I just wonder, with this game coming up, this really will prove what they've been trying to do, Chris, because if you're going to win in December on the road, you got to run the football, right?
Yep, sure do. And listen, I like what Mike McDaniel has done. I like what Devon Achane has done. Let's see if the reappearance of Darren Waller makes a difference offensively. If it can help Tua, we saw Waller get shut down in the second half again last week. I think he was only targeted once. Now Waller is still on a pitch count. I don't recall what his snaps were last game. But, having Darren Waller back, getting right tackle Austin Jackson back, those should be major factors in how this team is able to perform. Doesn't guarantee victories, but it gives you more options. Austin Jackson being your best run blocking offensive lineman and Darren Waller being a real threat. So, this team should improve offensively. It should have more options. Let's see what happens here. Let's see if it helps Tua, if it helps Mike McDaniel, if it helps the defense with the field position game. This team, in a way is getting stronger. Let's see what the effect of that is.
Chris Perkins, Sun Sentinel, sun-sentinel.com. Follow him on X at Chris Perk, P-E-R-K. Chris, safe travels. Be well. We'll talk next week here on Miller and Moulton.
We'll do it again. Thanks.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
There's something magical about the holidays, and at the Diamond District, it's the season we look forward to all year long.
The lights, the laughter, the feeling of giving. That moment someone opens a gift that truly sparkles.
When you walk through our doors, our team is ready to welcome you with warmth and expert guidance. No pressure, just people who love helping you create unforgettable moments.
Stunning diamond jewelry to wrap up the wonder of the season.
The Diamond District, se habla español.
At the Diamond District.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Adam, that was 26 years ago. Do you know how many Dolphins fans can't even remember that? Okay, Adam, once again, it's not all about you. We were talking about Dolphin fans. That's a long time ago.
Paul, I don't think made it today. I was watching the Eddie Murphy documentary on Netflix. It's all right, and I love Eddie Murphy, so there's some things in there that I didn't really realize that you think back like, oh yeah, I guess it was. But he was drinking Vernors the whole time. Every time they showed him, he had a Vernors. And I just was laughing because that's a Michigan pop. It ain't a Michigan soda because in Michigan we call it pop. And so I was just laughing. I'm like, that's a Vernors. I do love me a Vernors ginger ale. I have some in the fridge right now. Got sick. Grandma gave you a Vernors float.
Okay.
Not a root beer float, a Vernors float.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Beginning to turn for home. Miller and Moulton on this hump day. Roy Cummings, JP Shadrick to join us on the show tomorrow. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Our poll question today. So how do you want to decide who makes the college football playoff? Committee or computers? We've done it both ways. We're currently doing it by committee. How's that working for you? I voted committee, but I said committee. I just want them to be smarter.
I don't blame you. We would all like them to be smarter. And they would, I think if you asked the committee, I'm positive of it, they'd want to put out one list next week, and that's it. But after all, this is a TV show,
Bingo.
and that's why they're doing it. We all know the reasons why.
Yep.
Because what does it do? It sparks debate. It gets shows like us talking about college football instead of pro football. And I'll be honest with you. I'd rather debate the committee than talk about National Signing Day, because there was a time when signing day was in February that it was all we talked about. And I didn't mind doing the show. We got intelligent people on to talk about whatever school they were covering. But we were talking about 17-year-olds. The one thing with all the calendar and all the things that are going on, we've talked about a lot of different things in college football today. And everybody wants something different. But I'd like a simple thing. And I know it'll never happen because we don't go backward. All these kids that are now starting college in January so that they can be there for spring ball for their coach. I get it. They're now getting paid handsomely. So they're obligated, and I understand the reasons why. And I'm sure most of them are going to be fine for doing so. But I think that last sacrifice of youth is really ruined. That last, whether it's the senior prom, whether it's walking with your class at graduation, whatever. You and I yesterday were talking about Skip Day. Yesterday was National Skip School Day. I was astonished, by the way, of the texts that I received from the amount of you that never skip school. I'm very impressed. Like 8-footer for par impressed. That's something, because I didn't live in that world. I did skip school. Hell, I did it a lot. It explains a lot to you right now. But whether it's senior skip day, whether it's the prom, whether it's your spring break, your senior year, whatever it may be, when kids played multiple sports, the football player went and played for the basketball team, or hell, maybe even the baseball team. We've accelerated these, and they're getting paid. I get it. But we've just said, all right, you're 17, get your ass to college and learn the playbook. And of all of the portal, the payments, that never is talked about. It drives me nuts.
So if it was up to you, kids wouldn't finish high school early and enroll in college.
Yeah, if it was up to me, they would not.
Okay. Obviously, that can't be done and never will be done. But, okay. I hear you. It bothers you. I get it. I don't disagree about, listen, they're growing up fast as it is. Senior year of high school, last chance you're going to be around these people. You don't realize it at the time, but you ain't going to be around them anymore. And a lot of cases, you ain't never going to see them again. Maybe a reunion here or a funeral there. Right. I'm with you. I know.
I've never been to a high school reunion. They did it at times when we've had them, and I graduated with a really small class. 2 of my best friends are people I went to high school with, still to this day, that I graduated with. I still have a lot of friends that I talk to regularly from high school. And more for them, because there was a lot of, I happen to go to a high school that won a state title in basketball. Those guys have some great memories. I have some great memories of going to those games. We used to allow athletes to play multiple sports.
Yes.
You can't do that anymore.
No.
Hell, you can't do it at 11, let alone 17.
Right. The stud on the football team could be a leading scorer on the basketball team, may then pitch or play shortstop on the baseball team. Right. I know.
I was listening to a clip of Bo Jackson talk about all of the state titles he had in track. And I think, and it might not still be, but I thought he said he still holds the triple jump record in Alabama. I mean, that mattered then. I know it doesn't now. I know the world's changed. I'm not old guy on the porch. I get it. I just think even for these elite kids, they're not all playing on Sunday. And they're going to get paid handsomely to play on Saturdays. But the cost, is it worth it? I guess probably, because some of these kids now in college are going to be financially set for life.
All right. Speaking of starting early, something that could happen that has more than the possibility of happening. How early would you start the college football season? And listen, we can say we want to eliminate the conference championship games. There's not a snowball's chance, and you know what, of that happening right now. Conferences just make too much money on it. And ladies and gentlemen, it's all about money. It's a TV show. Okay. Check out the rating for Ohio State, Indiana this coming week and the SEC championship game rating. The networks don't want to give that up. Goodness knows the Big Ten and the SEC ain't giving up a dime, okay, from these games. So how early you want to go?
Well, next year's an interesting year, David. I'm glad you brought this up because we have the latest possible Labor Day next year.
The 7th?
The 7th is the Monday, which means there are 5 Saturdays in August.
Right.
So week 0, by normal accounts, would then be the 29th. If it was the 22nd, that would make you go nuts.
Yeah, but that's pretty much when it is now.
No, I know. This is a weird year just by the calendar, just an oddball year.
Yeah, but Mark, I'm wondering, so college football week 1 is not going to be August 29th then? Are they really waiting until September 5th for week 1? My guess is week 1's August 29th, give or take a day. Okay. And then week 0 would be August 22nd, wouldn't it?
According to FB Schedules, my main resource for scheduling of all things, the 2026 college football is set to begin week 0 on the 29th.
Wow. Okay, let me just ask you this. You okay with it starting a week earlier? And by the way, we'll have to stop calling it week 0. I mean, just so you know, week 1 of the college football season will be somewhere between August 20th and August 24th. Week 1, not week 0, 6 teams playing. Troy's the biggest name. You know what I'm getting at here. Week 1, college, Ohio State, Texas in the future will be Saturday, August 23rd.
This is, look at, I don't go to games around here that time of year, but in Florida, I wouldn't care. I get it up north. I get all the points you make. It would not bother me. And I don't know how much it would bother college football fan, because as you've pointed out so many times on this show, what sport has the longest break from when the last game is played to when the first game is played? It's college football, and it ain't close.
College fan waits, 220-something days in between games?
So I don't think the fan would be bothered by it as much as you were early on the show. I'm okay.
Mark, I don't know if anybody would be bothered by it as much as I was earlier on the show. I was pretty bothered.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
When Glass Doctor replaces your windshield, we don't just send you on your way, we send you off protected. Your local Glass Doctor includes the industry's only 12-month windshield protection plan at no extra cost. That means unlimited chip repairs and even a one-time replacement if needed. High-quality service backed by real peace of mind, right here in your neighborhood.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Exclusions apply. See your local Glass Doctor for details.
This December, watch the nation's best high school basketball players compete in the City of Palms Classic. Fort Myers will once again welcome future college and NBA stars as they square off at Suncoast Arena from December 18th through the 23rd. Come see Southwest Florida's own Bishop Faroe versus Barron Collier on Sunday night, December 21st. For tournament information, please visit cityofpalmsclassic.com. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism. American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Was your headset sitting by your MiFi by chance?
Yeah.
Okay. It was just, there was a buzz thing. I'm like, that's weird. And I'm like, I didn't know what it was. I wish I'd have seen this earlier. This would have been, Roethlisberger, apparently yesterday, he's got his own podcast or whatever, said it might be time for Tomlin. And when asked about where his next job should be, he said Penn State. Now that would be something.
Yeah. There's a part of me that thinks the loser of the AFC North's getting fired.
David, if the winner's 8-9 and loses in the first round game, it could be both of them.
Could be. Nice dead struck. I like that. Little witty repartee there. Oh, jeez. I don't think he is Mr. Spivey. Oh, I think the Giants would climb over people to get either AFC North guy. Yeah, I don't know how solid any of the coaches are in that division.
They could all get fired. That's a great point, Johnny. I mean, to bring up Bengals coach because I think he's gone. Yeah, the college guy's still got to recruit. EB, he's still got to recruit high school kids to be great.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till we're done. That's it. Top of the hour, we go. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Roy Cummings, JP Shadrick, and maybe others on the show tomorrow, in which, well, a new season, or a new week, I should say, of NFL gets underway, and a big one. Feels like an elimination game to me. We've talked a lot of college football today, Mark, and there were games in November in which you felt, winner still alive, loser done. Feels that way to me.
Oklahoma and Tennessee is the one that when you bring that, like, that's the one to me. Oklahoma's able to get that win and kept things alive for the Sooners. And now they're a playoff team.
USC, Oregon also, one of those games in which you're like, winner's probably going to be the third team in the Big Ten in the playoff, and the loser is not.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
David, today we start in 1818, and we say, happy birthday, Illinois. They became the 21st state today.
Hey!
In what I believe is one of the most unrecognized humans in existence. Today in 1911, Willis Carrier presents his rational psychometric formula on air conditioning to the American Society of Mechanical Engineers. It makes air conditioning possible.
Big.
Hip, hip, hooray. Without him, no one would live in this state. A Streetcar Named Desire premieres on Broadway today in 1947.
It was when we heard about this young actor named Marlon Brando.
Stella! Today in 56, sophomore Wilt Chamberlain made his varsity debut. He would score 52. He would have 31 rebounds, breaking both all-time Kansas records in an 87-69 win over Northwestern.
Can you just imagine being the year before on the freshman team at Northwestern and you're playing the freshman team at Kansas?
David, could you imagine being the varsity team on Kansas, playing the freshman team on Kansas?
It's like
when Chamberlain or when Abdul-Jabbar, Lou Alcindor, I know, was on the freshman team for UCLA.
Right, and they beat the varsity, who won the national championship.
Today in 1960, Camelot debuted on Broadway. Richard Burton, Julie Andrews, and Robert Goulet introduced to the world. 64, CBS debuts the TV special Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It's still running.
A monster.
The Beatles' Rubber Soul released today in 65. Elvis's comeback special aired on NBC, his first live performance in 7 years, today in 1968, relaunching his career.
Was that Hawaii?
Yeah. That same day, the Baseball Rules Committee moved the mound from 15 inches
to 10 inches. It was a pretty good idea. 1979. Sad day in rock history. At Riverfront Coliseum in Cincinnati, 11 audience members are trampled to death during a stampede to get unreserved seats for the Who concert. Geldof's Band-Aid, Do They Know It's Christmas, released today in 1984. Today was a Tuesday in 85. On Monday, the Bears got beaten by the Miami Dolphins. But Tuesday, 10 members of the Bears stepped into the studio and gave us an all-timer. That's right, the Super Bowl Shuffle recorded today in 1985. It was a gold record. It was a gold record. The Super Bowl Shuffle.
And it was horrendous, but
awful.
But we love our horrendous. I mean, just look at all the number one hits in the 70s.
But it is better than whatever that thing that the Lions did that Danielson's got like one word in or one line in. 89, Gorbachev and George H.W. Bush declare the Cold War over. The first text message was sent today in 1992. An engineer used his computer to send Merry Christmas to the phone of a colleague.
Al Gore wasn't involved?
No.
Okay.
Today in 94, we found out how many entertainers were Jewish because Adam Sandler performed the Hanukkah song on Weekend Update. It would reach number 10 in the U.S. A couple of days after choking his coach, the Golden State Warriors terminate Latrell Sprewell's 4-year, $32 million contract.
Listen, I'm not justifying it in any way, and I'm not. But if you ever sat behind the bench of a PJ Carlesimo game, okay, you would at least understand where it was coming from. Coach K, I thought was the worst. I never sat behind the bench of a Bobby Knight game. Coach K was the worst until I heard Carlesimo.
Well,
awful, unbelievable, demeaning. Oh my goodness, I can't speak. I can't believe what I'm hearing coming out of the mouth.
And I don't recognize all the players by face, and I go down some TikTok holes from time to time. There are some great basketball stories. The basketball stories that they are telling on videos and in podcasts are amazing.
Yes.
It started me watching the Larry Bird stories and all the guys talking about Larry Bird. And it's just morphed into, because it's now in the algorithm. The one thing that I remember hearing stories recently about the Sprewell thing is teammates of Sprewell hated Carlesimo just as much as he did, and none of them stepped in to stop him attacking PJ Carlesimo.
Right.
None of them.
Right.
For the record, today was the first ACC championship game. Florida State would beat Virginia Tech 27-22.
Here's a question. Which one of the two schools gets back to the ACC championship game first?
Virginia Tech.
Oh, my goodness. How
Virginia
sad is that?
Tech. Name the bet, by the way. Name the bet. I'll take Virginia Tech. And in 2015, Scott Weiland, lead singer of Stone Temple Pilots, he wasn't at that point, died at the age of 48. Andy Williams, Bobby Allison, Ozzy Osbourne, and Seth's buddy Daryl Hamilton all would have celebrated birthdays today. Call our ex-producer or text him and tell him to start watching indie reruns of 79, 84, 88, or 91, because Rick Mears is 74 years old today. Daryl Hannah from Splash, she's 65. Mike Ramsey won gold for the U.S. in 80 on the hockey team. He's 65. And Igor Larionov, great hockey player, also 65. Katrina Witt is 60.
Katarina Witt?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just taking a moment for myself right now.
Yes, you are.
And Brendan Fraser's 57. What did I miss, David?
Well, Mark, today was the tragic day in rock, as you mentioned, the Who concert in Cincinnati in 79. It was a very sad day, though, in our nation's history. It was the very last time that an AMC Pacer rolled off the assembly line.
I had that and didn't put it in. I'm glad you did.
Man, were those cars ugly. We
would have forgotten completely about that car if it wasn't for Wayne's World. I don't think that car ever gets brought up if Garth isn't driving a Pacer.
That car, pardon my French, that car had a wide ass. That car was the car equivalent of, does my butt look okay in these jeans? Because its butt was bigger than any other thing in that car, and it was just an odd-shaped car.
So Pacers got back, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
We go to Arizona for the good, where Werner Neubauer works for the electric company. And yesterday he saved a bear because a bear climbed a utility pole and was in danger of electrocution. He shut off the power to the pole's equipment, went up in a bucket truck, and using a pole was able to get the bear to slide down and make its way back out into the wild. For the bad, we go to the Winn-Dixie parking lot in Marathon, Florida. If you've been to Marathon, Florida, you know exactly where it is. It's on the Atlantic side, not the Gulf side. 3 people were arrested having a throuple midday in a car. It was around noon on Saturday when all 3 individuals were engaged in some, lewd behavior. The woman of Marathon, the 2 men, one of Key Largo and one of Marathon, were 45, 43, and 59, respectively. And they're all horrible looking. It's not something anyone should have ever seen. And finally, the ugly. We go to the liquor store where a raccoon went on a drunken rampage. It was in Ashland, Virginia, when the raccoon broke into the liquor store and hit the bottom shelf where the scotch and whiskey were stored. Apparently broke many bottles, drank a bunch of it, and they found the raccoon passed out on the floor in the liquor store. The raccoon was taken to the animal shelter where it slept off its buzz. And that is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, December the 3rd. And it's brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department. Hiring new officers, plus other jobs available. Great pay, great benefits. For more information, where can they go?
CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. 9 games in the association. Magic and Heat both in action. Miami and Dallas at 8:30. Magic home for San Antonio. It's a good game. I mean, it'd be better if Wemby were playing, but that's a good game.
Man, I hope we're not dealing with, just because of how tall and how lanky he. You worry that we're not going to get the career out of him that we all deserve to see. Because
no doubt,
he is so fun to watch.
5 games in the NHL, 2 of them on TNT. Buffalo at Philly.
On television?
On national television.
Holy.
And Utah at Anaheim. Wow. This Turner's really committed to the sport. The Sabres and the Ducks. And the Ducks are a good, exciting team, but still, most of America's completely unaware. And even those that are don't care. It's a pretty good night, but compared to last night, it feels empty. But, I mean, Louisville, Arkansas in the ACC SEC Men's Challenge.
2 ranked teams, the road team Louisville favored by 3.5 for what it's worth.
All right. Do we want to play it? It's the first time that I can recall that our system is in play tonight.
But both are ranked. It's usually ranked for.
No, one other. 22nd ranked Indiana, 10.5 point road favorite against the Gophers on Big Ten Network at 7 o'clock. Would you take the Gophers at home and the 10.5?
It's a system play, David. It's the first one of the year. We should probably log this and keep track.
Okay.
I'm not afraid to take the Gophers tonight.
All right. We're working the system then. Got it.
By the way, FGCU on the road at FIU. Do you know who's favored? FGCU is a 1.5 favorite on the road.
What do you think? Do you have the guts? I will say FGCU's got this hotshot freshman. Okay. A lot of people in the college basketball world think they're the favorites in the A-Sun to go to the tournament this year.
Be a big win for them to win at FIU on the road. It's a step up in
would.
class.
It would. I'll take FIU on the road until proven otherwise, but I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. Miller and Moulton, thanks for listening.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
When Glass Doctor replaces your windshield, we don't just send you on your way, we send you off protected. Your local Glass Doctor includes the industry's only 12-month windshield protection plan at no extra cost. That means unlimited chip repairs and even a one-time replacement if needed. High-quality service backed by real peace of mind, right here in your neighborhood.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor. We fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Exclusions apply. See your local Glass Doctor for details.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeister's prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. Football season is back, and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton.
This is Miller and Moulton